Morning, everyone. We have a stream cat already. We literally just started and we have stream cat.
We have
Um,
two.
Look at him. Get up. Look at you. Just in the way. In the way. Anyway, welcome to the Skies of Axia campaign for Emberwind. I'm your storyteller, Imani. Let me introduce you to our cast. Lakri, you are first.
Hi, I play Sorcha Keegan. She is an ardent, she likes books, and she likes setting people on fire. Um, and yeah, she's just here to document the absolute garbage fire that's going on because documenting historical things is important. Also, it's a garbage fire and fun to watch.
That's fair. It is in fact not. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna make it better.
Yeah, fixing is great, but also garbage fire.
It's true. I didn't do it. It's not my fault. Arnica, you're up.
Hi, I'm Arnica, and I'm playing Saren Clutch, the druid. And I did not start the burning fire of garbage. I may be throwing some tires on it before the day is through, but I did not start the fire.
The tires burn real good.
Oh, the tires.
That's fair. Also, what the heck? What's happening behind me? Sorry, stream cats are being weird. Zweth, you're up.
Hello, I'm Zweth. I play Kira Tully, who is a happy-go-lucky rogue who is great at roguing and didn't fall out of a bunch of windows last time on her heist.
Also, this is a key bit of information you're forgetting to mention.
We got a horse, a pony.
It's true. We now have a horse. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we have a horse.
It's not going to give us away at all. We're going to be fine. No one will think to look for it.
Exactly. No one will look for this really expensive horse that everyone sort of knows. And totally no one saw you steal.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely fits in my workshop, which is just like one little room.
So anyway, as a reminder to chat, you can affect the game with your bits, subs, and donations. For every 100 biddies, you can gift a cast member a reroll, which some people need a lot. Or with a subscription, you can give them an auto crit, which also some people need a lot. If you just donate money via Coffee or Streamlabs, you can make stuff happen. Like you can give me suggestions and all that jazz. Excuse me. Sorry. I apologize for the sound that I just made. If you stick around to the end of the game, we are raffling off a copy of all of the official content for Emberwind, which consists of a Hero's Manual, Skies of Axia, Songweaver's Tapestry, and Wailing Song. Also, any purchases made on the Emberwind.com website with the code Valdrians gets you a 10% discount. I believe that is everything that I need to say. Ooh, look! Kira got a
Thank you. I won't need it because she's the best rogue. She never gets in any trouble.
I'm sure, but just in case. Just in case. I mean, even just because you won't need it's nice to have that little bit of safety there, right? It can't hurt to have, right? Take it.
Oh, look.
I will definitely take it.
Oh, God, someone gifted out a bunch of subs.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Thank you for all the subs, Emma. Or Miss Patterson? Yeah. Let me just say a thank you and a thank
you.
We appreciate you. So if you would like to tell us who you'd like to give those auto crits to, let me know. Because there's you can give them to anyone, even Viv, who isn't here today. We'll just bank it for next week. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Anyway, who would like to do the recap of what we were doing last week?
Oh, I'll do the recap this week.
Okay.
So, last week, we were so busy. There may or may not have been people falling out of windows. If they did, they fell safely in a shrubbery and were watched by neighbors who stood there like a white lady in a meme with a fur coat watching a, a politician get arrested out of his home at 2 a.m.
That's very specific.
I loved that picture, and that's all I could see last week was that woman in her fur coat watching homeboy get arrested. I
Just
may or
loves
may not be
sit and
working
watch
on a
it.
plan to have the Baron Maddox call me daddy before the night is done.
I mean, does he not already?
Well, not yet, but he will. He will. A horse was stolen. Not a horse, a pony. We don't know if the pony is going up in the elevator or down in the elevator, but Kira has to get a pony in an elevator today. Glad that's not me. And we met the jolliest Timbo and his very shrewd wife. Oh, and also some jerk who owns a dock who does not recognize my fantasticness.
That's fair. That's fair. Those are all. I mean, actually, let me remind myself that Mr. Moore. Oops, this is a new pen. This is a brand new pen. Hold on a
I
second.
love brand new pens.
It's a Sharpie S Gel pen. It's really nice. I bought a box of them, even though I didn't know if I was gonna like them or not. I should make neater notes, to be honest. My notes are kind of shit. I can read them, but they're kind of shit. Anyway, so we are at a dinner party, a very fancy dinner party, and everyone is about to go do the thing where you So last we left, everyone had just arrived, which the last person to not the last person, but one of the last people to arrive was our good friend. What's Glenn's name? What's Glenn's actual name? Glenn's neighbor is Miss Nancy. What's Glenn's first name? Darn it. I don't remember anyone's first. I know his last name is Glenn. All right, 1 second while I dig through my notes. What the heck? How long ago did I name this dude Glenn? Oh, look, there's more tier 1 subs being gifted to people. Thank you. What's Glenn's name? Give me 2 seconds. I know I have it written down. Am I losing my mind? Oh, it's right there. Glenn Lee. It's literally on the page before that I was not looking at. Anyway, so the last person, one of the last people to arrive is Glenn Lee. He is the person that Kira has recently removed some property from, namely a horse. But amongst other things, he arrives with his oldest daughter, I do believe is what I said that he arrived with, because he has 3 kids. He arrives with Trixie, and Trixie's gonna go hang out with the Dawson kid. That's correct. Okay. And so, and since everyone's arrived, the music has started, and you're doing the dancing thing, or they're about to do the dancing thing. And I believe you were all staring at Dawson when we left, because he was making a face because something had happened. What had happened?
I don't know. All I know is that Dawson hates everyone equally.
It's true. Dawson does hate everyone equally. Dawson Anderson hates everyone as much as, well, he can. But, like, he's an equal opportunity ass.
I mean, at least he's consistent.
Yes, he is very consistent. And I believe, Arnica, you were walking towards him. Does that sound right? You were walking towards someone.
I had approached Verity and not Alexandra Cabot.
Oh, it was You're talking to Harriet Ashenfell, I believe. The police.
The district attorney, yes.
Or it was
the district attorney, yes.
Thank you. All I can remember was that she was not Alexandra Cabot.
No, that's my note. My note is Alexander Cabot reference. I was like, why did I do that?
Harriet Ashenfell.
Yes. I was like, what
Thank
did I
you.
do? I love my notes. One day I'm gonna type up all my. I'm gonna like screenshot all my notes, and you're gonna be like, "What the f were you doing?" But she is the district attorney. Well, she is the equivalent of a district attorney for Ardell. She's not technically in charge of Gelspar, but Gelspar also doesn't really have a district attorney. Like they don't really have a court of law. Everything that happens probably like it's either handled internally or it's sent up to Ardell. She doesn't recognize you, Saren, as anyone that she's ever had to deal with legally for crimes or anything like that. And you had just approached her, and she was talking to Verity because they are co-workers, but Verity has slipped off to like go to the small ladies' room, and she will return later. And Harriet is gonna be like, I believe she was surprised that Baron Maddox, like everyone else, had a contact in Gelspar. Let's make some small talk.
All right. So, I'm obviously fairly new to your area. How long have you known the Baron?
I believe she has known the Baron for she's younger than him. So she has known the Baron technically all her life because she's younger than him. But she runs, like, her family runs in the same circle as his. Like, remember how I was saying last week, there's like levels to importance of people, and Baron Maddox is like a 4, and the highest you can be is a 5. Her family's like a 3. So like they know each other, but like only in the sense of like, to make a Harry Potter reference. Has everyone read Harry Potter at some point or another? Does everyone remember Amelia Bones, the head of the department of whatever that is, how she knows Dumbledore? So technically, like, they are not in the same class circle, but they like exist in the same court. Like, if any legal matters are happening, they've seen each other around. Like, they know each other's politics.
Okay.
Sorry for the Harry Potter reference. Sometimes that's like the only thing that's the only point of reference I can make for things from time to time.
All right. So, is Harriet there as someone who runs in a personal circle, or is she there as a business contact?
She's there as a business contact. She's there as like her family. Like, so let me see if I can find it. World. There it is. So let me go find my list of things the way this works. Celestial Plateau. So it goes, the Council of Nobles is like the highest ranking bit of people.
Uh-huh.
But like they are, it's one of those, in theory, we're in charge. But really, like, the merchants people are in charge.
Uh-huh.
And then like there's like the lower ranking political people who aren't nobles but aren't merchants. She's the equivalent of like the highest ranking non-merchant, non-noble person with political sway. Like, it'd be her, it would be what's her name? The head of the Verity's boss. What's Verity's boss's name? Let me see if I can find it. Actions and people. No, not the academy. No. No. Review. Just not Rook. Hmm. Uh, Someone give me a name.
Amelia.
Okay, we're gonna go with Amelia. Uh, so Verity's boss is Amelia. So Amelia and like Harriet and like maybe one other person or like the people like below the merchant guild in terms of things in charge. Technically, they're supposed to respond to the nobles, but they respond to whoever has the most speaks the most common sense. They're all practical people, practical women.
Okay.
So she's definitely there as a political contact. She's definitely there as someone who we're gonna make them all women because or them presenting people. Uh so yeah, that's what brings her to this party. She's again like most people aware of the Baron's political leanings and political schemings. Um, she is primarily you wouldn't know this, but Verity would know this. But Verity went to the bathroom, so it's okay. Um, Amused by it, like she's just like, I wish you the best of luck. I'm not gonna stand in your way, but I'm not gonna directly uh oppose you, but I'm also not going to directly help you for no because she like Sorka is a neutral party in this.
Okay.
With more or less malice than Sorcha.
Yes, with more or less malice than Sorka.
Or
Like
that was. Is it more or is it less?
Oh, is it more or less? Well, Sorcha's malice is because of abused books, correct?
Well, I mean that's not a neutral party. You don't abuse books. Books are
No,
a
I'm saying
wonderful thing.
Is Sorcha not neutral because they abuse the books, or is Sorcha not neutral because of other reasons?
Sorcha remains neutral regardless, but she does like make it clear that she doesn't like people who abuse books. But when it comes to circumstances, she's pretty dang neutral.
Okay. Amelia is neutral enough, but her main priority is the wellness and goodness of Ardell and Gelsmore, of the entirety of Axia. Not Axia, of like this Ardell and Ardell. Also, it's supposed to be Adriel. Anyway, I'm just saying Ardell. Whatever, we're gonna roll with it. Of Ardell and Gelsper, like that's her biggest concern.
Okay.
Like whatever it like she won't back whoever she thinks is doing the best job, but she's also not gonna like outright say who she's backing until the very last minute.
I see. Okay. I was just curious.
Uh-huh.
Continue.
Okay. So when you as you're standing, you're talking to her. There is a. She'll make the usual small talk like, so how do you know the Baron? How do you like? What do you do? What do you? And then she'll ask you like, what do you hope to like? not what do you hope to gain from the Baron for Gelspar, but what do you see as the future of Gelspar with the help of the Baron? If the Baron, or if without the Baron, like if he can't help you, who do you like? What's your plan? What do you?
Okay. Saren looks over and sees that their drinks are low and says, "Come with me. Let's go refresh our drinks and take a moment to talk." We head over to the bar, to a quieter spot a little bit further down the end.
Yeah.
At which point I turn and look at her. I think that my primary goal is the good health of Gelspar.
Mm-hmm.
We need more than Ardell has ever felt like providing. And now we have leverage in our ability to leave. I'm not afraid to leave. I'm here speaking about staying more or less as a favor to my friends below. I honestly think we might do better by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if it can be done, that Gelspar can be brought to a more equitable playing field, some schools, some doctors, some form of justice other than what's handed out behind the bar or giving people over to the chasers, then perhaps we can come to some sort of agreement. I'd like to see Ardell and Gelspar thrive together, but I'm not afraid to see Gelspar thrive alone.
She'll like nod, like, okay, that's a she can see that, and she's just like, well, if anyone has any sort of uh plans for Gelspar, though she won't say it will be for the betterment of Gelspar. It won't be for the it'll be for, if it helps, she'll tell you, sorry. She'll tell you quite bluntly that the Baron is probably one of the few people who will care to listen, but not the only person. But if the Baron helps you, it's not because he cares about Gelspar much as he, like her, cares about the whole of Ardell, like the whole city state of Ardell. Um, like he cares about both of them equally and not at all, if that makes sense.
Okay. Saren laughs. Good. I don't want some spoiled noble who wants to treat us like children and make us his pet project. I'm looking for someone willing to treat us like equals and work on a partnership together.
She'll nod like, okay. And she'll be like, well, I wish you the best of luck. If there's anything, she's like, well, I may not be able to do anything personally. My hands are pretty much, those aren't my pies. I look forward to seeing what you and the Baron, and she like looks over at Lewis Moore and his wife Becca, and the Moores do. Before she kind of like not wanders off, but like she like clinks her glass and like excuses herself from the conversation.
Mm.
And you can see that she is going. So actually, in the grand scheme of the room, most of the adults are like broken up into parties of 2 or 3. But Piper, Trixie, and what is Dawes? Oliver Anderson, are all like huddled together, like talking off to the side. They are visibly the youngest people here. Like everyone else brought like their spouse, except for Glenn, because Glenn doesn't have like his wife is deceased. And the Baron doesn't have a wife either. His wife is deceased. Um, and let me think. Saren, how old are you again? Sorry, I need to think about something.
Mid-40s, like 44.
Okay. Okay. Um, he had his daughter. Okay. Okay. I just did some weird math in my head. I was just like, wait a second, how is Piper like 19? Um, but it's okay. We don't question these sorts of things. Uh, the Baron is talking with. Actually, he's made his way. He's doing the like social. He's doing like the social interaction thing where like you like walk around the party and make small talk with everyone who's there, as opposed to waiting for them to come to him. Occasionally, he'll look over at Piper like he's just, like go do the thing. But she like deliberately, like you can tell that she's just not making eye contact. Like she's not facing him. She's just not making eye contact. She's not gonna like. She's like, I'm talking with my friends, and you can't make me socialize with strangers.
Can you tell I have a teenager too? Yeah, I know exactly what face she's making.
Yeah. And so the Baron doesn't want to. Like, you can tell that he doesn't want to publicly push it, but like he's not annoyed. He's more like vaguely amused, but like inconvenienced would be the best because he has to go do all the social interactions. Like he's gonna do all of them because she's just not doing them. Sorcha, where are you? And your intern, Marin.
Sorcha is kind of floating around the party, and she's doing a little bit of socializing in terms of like whenever there's a break in the conversation. Right now, she's just sort of like, oh, how are you enjoying the party? How are you? What are your thoughts? Why do you think we're all here? Kind of deal. Just she's just trying to get everyone sort of like. She's probably getting a lot of, stock responses like, oh, yes, I'm fine. Well, these parties happen frequently, blah, blah, blah. But she's also sort of reading the room, not reading the room. She's listening for like gossip is what she like, because people aren't necessarily going to tell her directly. Like they know she's neutral. They know she's just trying to hear to document it, but like she's floating around in a way where it's obvious she's sort of listening in for
anything interesting to document.
But like it's also like one of those people where the reputation where it's like they're listening not because they're going to snitch, but because they enjoy listening. It's that sort of listening,
Mm-hmm.
So she's listening for what people are willing to say and let her hear, kind of thing, because you can kind of get a read on things that way.
So if as Sorcha's getting a read on the room, there's like an equal amount of not confusion, but not wariness either. What's the word for when you like don't trust something because you've been here before? You're gonna be disappointed.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, there's like a level of uncertainty, but like of everyone from everyone, but like there's no negative feeling. Like no one's annoyed to be here except for Dawson because Dawson just hates everyone.
As for people who might have seen like people who might have a positive impression or
Mhm.
have seen Saren and have acknowledged her or looked at her or whatever, other than the ones that have been introduced. Does it seem like there's anyone else? Because you mentioned that like Dawson's obviously not on our side, and then we've got
Well, okay, so I'll say this about Dawson. I'll say this: he's not on your side. He just doesn't see the benefit currently of being on your side.
that's fair.
Like he's not like if you know, because of the kind of person that he is, from like just general gossip of like up in Ardell, he backs the party he thinks he doesn't lose, and he always backs the party that's going to win. He's Ohio in an election, except for this year where Ohio was wrong. Like if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ohio always whoever wins Ohio generally speaking wins the presidential election, except for this year for like the last like 6 elections. Dawson is Ohio. Kind of sucks. No one really likes them. But like you look at them like, okay, what is Dawson doing?
He's the kind of guy that always leans into whom he thinks is winning and tries to make all of the safe investments.
Correct.
Just the stuff that will give him maximum turnaround.
Correct.
Okay.
I do not apologize to anyone from Ohio in the chat. Ohio sucks. I will fight you.
I mean, pretty landscapes, but in Ohio, I've been there once.
Yeah, no, people from Ohio was fine. Just the general state of Ohio, like the land mass that is made up of Ohio, not a fan of it.
Fair enough.
You could annex that into Canada, and I would be fine with it. Anyway.
So Sarge is probably not the best one to go over and try to convince him. But she will creep over to Saren and just point out I keep forgetting his name because
Dawson?
brain. Dawson, and just be like, if you want him on your side, you're gonna need to cater to, what he wants. Like she's mentioned this before. She's just pointing him out the fact that the party's underway, and you could probably a newcomer could probably get away with walking up to him and talking to him, and because it's a newcomer.
It's fair.
Wouldn't necessarily know. But you might be able to play a little, like a hint, you might be able to play a little bit up to the fact that he could serve to, invest in Geldspar and get quite a bit back because people are able to, work more efficiently or do stuff like that. Business opportunities.
Yeah. I will say this. As the voice in the sky, not necessarily as like the in-game person. Anderson brought his son, nephew, whatever, person Oliver. I don't know how they're related. I'm gonna say nephew. Sister's kid. So that's nephew. And he is in theory more receptive, but he has less sway than his uncle. Like, okay. So, backtracking a section. So, Glenn Lee brought his daughter, Trixie, and Beatrix is the heir to the family business, the same way Piper is the heir to the Maddox family stuff. Oliver Anderson is the heir to Dawson's family stuff. Like they are like I said, they are the 3 youngest people here, but they are all being cultivated to take their parent or uncle or aunt's place. And they're the youth. And you know how the youth are the future. They're like that.
Okay.
For points of reference. That's the voice in the sky telling you that, not me as the in-game person.
I In that case, Sorcha will, point out. She'll point out how old is Oliver approximately.
They're all in there. Anywhere between. Wait a second. Let me think. That's 18, 19, 20, 21. No, that's not right. How old are you when you graduate from college?
So just like, are they in their 20s? Like they're
like they're past the age of college, but not quite. Why did I think? No, you start college at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I don't know how math works. That's confusing. They're like, about 25, 26.
Okay, yeah, they're just out of college, but not quite.
Or the equivalent of college.
Yeah. So, Sorchas will point out Oliver and be like, he's gonna be next in line. He's probably gonna be more receptive. So, if you can sway Oliver, you might be able to
sway. Yeah.
You might be able to sway Dawson a little more easily. I'll break up their little group, and then you'll be able to talk to him more easily.
Yeah.
No. Saren reaches out and puts her hand on Sorcha's shoulder.
That could be mean.
I know, darling, but listen. Dawson Anderson does not recognize me. I know him. The man's a piece of shit. I know how his docks are run here in Ardell. I'm sure they're lovely, but I also know how they're running Gelspar. If I need him, I don't need Ardell. As far as that child goes, there's nothing less fun at a party than a random adult walking up to you. If Kira ever shows up, we'll send Kira over. They're about the same age.
Yeah, okay. Kira, speaking of Kira.
I didn't mean like to actually. I mean, of course you don't need him. I'm saying exploit him. He has a lot of money after all.
He does. But speaking of Kira, how are you in Applejacks?
We were great for about like the first 5 minutes, and then it dawned on Kira that she doesn't really know what she's gonna do with the sauce.
I mean,
either I keep it here and maybe messes up my stuff. Maybe it eats something it shouldn't do. Or I take it to Saren's where it will probably be fine, but then I have to survive Saren's wrath. You'll be fine here for now, won't you, buddy? And I pat it. And then I pull the shutter of the workshop down. Because as much as I want to bring it to the party, that's probably not a good idea.
I'm not gonna stop you. I'm literally not gonna stop you.
And then I'm gonna open it and I don't know, find some food out that it eats.
Okay, yeah, there's the equivalent of space carrots here.
Nice. And then I will go to leave, look at the mirror, dust myself off a little bit, look vaguely presentable, and then be like, maybe it's party time. And I'm gonna head up because I think we said I would maybe join them at the end if I had time.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like I mentioned last week, in case you forgot, there was an extra invite. You had 3 invites.
Yeah.
So you didn't use them all because Sorcha took Marin as their +1. Verity was Saren's +1, and then you have no +1 unless you're going to bring Applejack as your +1. Or anyone else. You can literally bring whoever you want as your +1. Any NPC that I've already named.
I think it's good. I think I'll go meet. I guess, did we talk about actually the plan of actually trying to sort something out for Guildspar?
What do you mean?
Like, did we talk about this literally just as cover, or did like Saren did Kira and I and you talk about
officially what you want from
what we actually might get from the like?
Oh,
I think the conversation basically went like, yeah, this is great cover, and then Sorcha at one point was like, hey, you might get something good out of it, and then she was just kind of ignored.
Yeah.
So it did. I don't think the conversation in that direction went very far.
Okay. Probably just me then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am outright vetoing a talking horse. I'm just gonna put that out there. Horses are terrifying to begin with. I don't need to talk to it. Anyway, also the animals here don't talk. This isn't that kind of world. Unless you have speak with animal, in which case, yes, the animals talk. Anyway, so Kira, it'll take you about, I'll say like 20 minutes to get to the party. You basically you go from Gellspar to brush off your clothes, make yourself presentable, go up the elevator.
Pull the leaves from the bush out of my hair.
Yeah. You're still not as fancy as Saren is, but like you're respectable. You actually rephrase that statement. You will not stand out in a crowd. No one will think you belong, but no one will tell you to go away. Especially considering you also have an invite. Like if the major domo answered the door, he'd be like, "Who are you and why are you here? You're like unfashionably late at this point."
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things of like, I clearly will not fit in. I've not got the right attire, but I have an invite, so they can't really turn me away.
Right, it's exactly that.
And I have Kira has little idea of like the fact that will be such a problem.
Correct.
The other people.
It's fine. You're young.
It's just clothes, you know?
Yeah.
What's the point?
And they're clean.
Exactly.
So when you arrive at the party, again, like I said, the major domo will open the door, be like, "Who are you? You're unfashionably late." Everyone's like, we've already gone into like hors d'oeuvres and dancing.
Oh wait, I have it here somewhere. Just hold this for a second, and I'm pulling out various things from my pocket, and I'm like, "Here, have an invite."
And he'll like look at the invite
like,
and look at you.
Unfurl it. It's been folded like a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. He'll look at you and look at the invite and look at you and look at the invite, and he'll like shake the invite like flat, like shake it out, and he'll like go by. He'll like be like, "One moment, please." He'll like close the door on you, and like on the other side of the door, he's looking at the other invite, comparing your invite to that invite, to the previously collected invites, to make sure it's legitimate. And when he realizes that it's legitimate, he's gonna be like, "Okay, well, like I can't say no." And when he reopens the door, he's like, "Will anyone be joining you?"
Oh, I forgot I could bring someone. I guess it's just me.
He will nod. And so, as a note, that is. Sorry, Mike. Jack is being suspicious. It's not unusual for someone to arrive at a party by themselves. It's not again using Harry Potter as a reference. It's not like the Yule Ball where you had to come with a date, but like everyone else has brought a +1 and you are literally the odd numbered person in this party. So he's gonna have to go rearrange the dinner table, basically, is what he's thinking in his head. Because there's an extra chair there, and that'd be rude to have this empty chair sitting next. What the fuck are you doing? And so he'll let you in, and he'll hold out his hand and take your coat. Do you hand him your coat?
No, it's cool. I'll keep this. All of my stuff's in here. You just point me in the direction of the free buffet, and I will be good.
He will literally look at you, and like he has like this blank, perfect face mask. Like he's professional enough to not say anything and not to like make a reaction, but like the voice in his head is going, who is this child and how did she get invited to this party? Like, whose
This sassy
child
little
is this?
child.
Like, whose child is this? I have never seen them before. And like, he will like direct you towards the ballroom where everyone currently is. So Saren and Sorcha, you will see Kira arrive in their, you're wearing an overcoat, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got like a coat kind of thing, yeah. Long with lots of pockets, basically, for all my random stuff.
Yeah. And literally, as the major domo, who I'm not gonna name, he's just the major domo, opens the door, a couple people will look towards the door to see who's arriving so late, but no one, because again, it's like one of those. There's late, and then there's faster than late, and then there's late. You've crossed a line into late. So not everyone, but enough people sort of like look towards the door that it's probably vaguely uncomfortable.
For most people.
Anyone who's aware of social norms, it is probably uncomfortable.
Kira is like, oh, you got it. This is a big room. What do you need so much space for?
He will be like, this is the. Do you say that out loud? Sorry, do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
He'll be like, this is the minor ballroom. It is used for small parties.
Minor, like, there's also a major one?
Yes. It is elsewhere in the manor.
Huh. I could fit a lot of workbenches in here. That would be good. Thanks. And I'm gonna like start walking down the stairs. And I'm
there are no stairs. It's literally like it's a square room.
Oh, I see.
Door,
Just opens into it.
He just opens there's no walking down the stairs, that awkward long pause as you like
Okay, good.
down this. Yeah, none of that. It's not that kind of awkward. The
Me
Grand
and
Ballroom,
Zoe
on the other hand, has
super
something like that.
awkward. I was like, oh, this is terrible. Even in my imagination, this is terrible. But Kira's like, okay. I think she will sort of like awkwardly be like, hi, as she like winds her way through towards people she knows.
Sorcha took one look at Kira coming in and just like turned slowly back towards the punch bowl and was just like, I'll wait for her to come to me. This is a little too awkward even for me.
Saren, what do you do as Kira arrives? Like I'm assuming you're one of the people who looks at the door when Kira arrives.
Oh yeah. I turn, I watch Kira come in, and I lift a glass so that she sees Sorcha and I. Turn to the bar and I order her a drink because while she's not the kind of person to be made nervous by all those people watching her, just in case someone's rude enough to start muttering under their breath as she walks by, I'd rather she have a drink in her hand than her pole.
Okay. Sorry, the Jack is being weird. Anyone at home who cannot see Jack is behind me, and he is just doing weird shit.
Can confirm. He's being weird.
You can see him behind me.
Yeah,
he's being cute.
I don't trust it. So not Sorcha. Kira, are you approaching Saren, who just raised? Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're crossing the ballroom, and I'm assuming you crossed the ballroom as opposed to going around the ballroom.
Yeah. Yeah, I wind through the middle.
Yep. Everyone sort of like parts, like everyone sort of like does the sidestepping thing where they like dance around you, but like
she's pretty good at winding, so they don't have to move so much. She'll do the like, dodge through.
You can feel from three sides of the room. It's a four-corner room. From three sides of the room, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes. Like, I mean, everyone's looking at you, but there are 5 people staring at you. Like, and this is everyone else is sort of like under their lashes looking at you, but they're fuck. There are 5 people staring at you. like directly.
Question is, did Sorcha go over etiquette with her at all beforehand?
Does Kira remember any of the etiquette?
Did Kira listen?
Did Kira
Kira only
listen?
remember the robbery plan.
I feel like Sorcha's at least tried.
I feel like
the robbery plan to remember.
There was an attempt.
I feel like some of the things are vaguely coming back to Kira now. Like after she's messed them all up, she's now like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right way to do things. And she's starting to notice like there are people staring. Does she recognize any of the people that the five that are doing the proper staring?
Unless you know what the Baron looks like, you don't recognize. You recognize
No.
there's an older dude. There are two older men staring at you. One of which I will tell you is the Baron. He is staring at you like, who is this child? Did I invite this child? I don't know who this. I don't know. Like he's like mentally rolling through his Rolodex of people that he invited. He's like, I don't know who this is. This must be one of Saren's friends. Why did she invite this child? And trying to figure out like what the game is being played there is. Like he just doesn't understand like the pieces on the board right now. The other person staring at you is Anderson, is Dawson. I keep calling him Anderson Dawson because I fucking understand. His name was Anderson Dawson. He's staring at you because he's rude and he doesn't give a shit. And then the three teenagers of equal age to you are staring at you because you are a new teenager, not teenager, you're a new young adult that they don't recognize.
I mean, like she's like 20. Like
yeah, like
pretty much that age.
They were the youngest people here. I believe you're probably younger than them. So they're looking at you like, who is this other young person that I don't recognize from any party that I've ever been to before in my entire life?
And you had the gall to strut in like that.
Exactly, and you had in such a laissez-faire way that they're just like, you're either the coolest person that we've ever met or so blind to social norms. This is gonna be hilarious. They have no idea what it's gonna be, but either way, they're watching like. So you make it into Saren, and Saren hands you your drink. And what I'd like the two of you to have a fun conversation between the two of you about whatever you'd like.
So Kira sort of comes up and she will happily take the drink and be like, hey, sorry I'm late. All good though. This is this is more like on edge a party that I'm used to, you know? She's like waving at someone behind, like, hey.
Honey, these people wouldn't know a party if it bit them in their ass. The booze is good. Just we're gonna camp right here until the food is out, and we're gonna keep drinking this.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Okay. Do you mention how the heist went? Even in code,
So I think no more than I guess it's probably.
No, you don't have to. I'm just asking.
No, I think it's quite obvious. She doesn't say anything. She's just like, sorry, I'm late, but everything's good, it's fine.
Okay.
Everything's sorted, sort of thing. Yeah.
Saren leans over and there is one tiny leaf in the back of Kira's hair where she couldn't see it and pulls the leaf free. Everything's good?
Maybe we'll talk about it later.
All right.
Okay.
How do you feel about wildlife? We'll talk about it later. It's fine.
We'll talk about it later, Kira. It better be fine.
Sorja has been inching over. Should I be concerned?
I think you'll be happy.
That doesn't make me feel
happy.
better.
I mean, you'll be fine. Honestly, it's all fine. It's always fine.
And then, as this is happening, Oliver has slipped away from the two other girls Like they were so in the background of the conversation that you two are having, the three of you are having, the three of them were having a really like whispered conversation before like Trixie like shoves Oliver towards you. Like not blatantly shoves Oliver towards you, but like scoots him along, like go do the thing. Um and he like sort of like saunters up to the three of you. And he's like he's not a fetus, but he's a who is his face cast? Who looks like a okay? Have we all seen Queen's Gambit? I think it's called.
No.
Oh damn. Okay, I haven't either. But there's a kid. Okay, hold on a second. I haven't, but like I've seen pictures from Queen's Gambit. Here I will tell you what he looks like. He looks like Thomas Brody. Thomas Brody saying what the fuck is your name? How do you say your name? Hold on a second. I'm just gonna throw it in chat. He looks like this kid. Fuck you, computer. Sorry, I excuse my.
That guy.
He looks like that guy. So not an actual child. Like he's not actually a child. He's actually like 31 years old, but like looks like a child.
Yeah.
Like I would card you in every single situation in which I ever saw you because you look like a fetus. Like has puberty ever? Do you know what puberty is? Have you seen a pimple in your life? Does your voice drop? Like he's 30.
He's got a bad face with a baby face.
He got the baby face. He's got the permanent baby face.
Sorcha is just going to casually like turn with her drink and turn to Myron, but also like sort of like elbow Kira, just like go do the thing, go talk to him.
Yeah, that's fair. He is he does not grow okay mustache. He grows that I have never met puberty mustache style. I don't know what you've talking. He grows like 3 hairs and calls it a mustache. Let's not play with. Let's not lie. Don't help him. He doesn't need your help. He just needs to accept that he looks like a child. Just lean into it. Just lean into it. Sorry, 1 second. Anyway, so he arrives and he does the polite introduction that he is Oliver Anderson. And he like waits for the 3 of you to introduce yourselves to him. Like the way what's the polite way to introduce yourself to someone? I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before in my life. How do you say hi to someone that you don't know?
Sorcha has no concept of this sort of awkwardness of this situation. She's be like, it's nice to meet you. You might have seen me before at some other parties. I'm Sorcha. I am the archivist.
He's Oliver Anderson.
I'm learning everyone's little tidbits.
He'll like sort of laugh when you say that. He's like, well, good thing I have nothing interesting. I'm sadly a very boring person. I'm very uninteresting.
Hey.
He sort of laughs like I'm not like ha 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 ha. I'm not. Don't look too closely. I have nothing to hide.
Well, what I found is that the people who think they're the least interesting turn out to be the most impactful.
He'll be like, I guess he's like he like looks like he does. He looks over his shoulder and sees Trixie and Piper, and they're both staring at him, going, "Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like Arca's face just now. That's the face they're making at him." But when they see that if Sarah and Kira or Sorcha looks at them, they turn away too fast for you to notice them. They are clearly eavesdropping. they're not close enough to hear what you're saying, but they're close enough to like read body language. But like they're both polite enough to not make it obvious that they're looking.
Sorcha is going to make a big show of. She's going to look straight at them, and it's clear to him that she's looking straight at them and reading what they're doing, and then she's going to put her hand on his shoulder and say, except my brain just sort of bleh right now.
Oh no.
She's going to be like, I don't know, my brain is just not working right now. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Listen, it happens to me all the time.
She's going to be like, fortune favors the bold. Essentially, that's she's going to say something akin to that is a lot more Sorcha-like.
Okay. Saren, Kira, you are the next to say hello to him if you acknowledge his existence.
Yeah, Kira will be like, I don't believe anyone is boring. You just haven't found out enough about them yet. I'm Kira. Nice to meet you. I have now realized I'm not well enough dressed for this. But you know, and I reach to like shake his hand.
He will do the thing. So when people like go to shake someone's hand, but then the person whose hand they do the thing where they like turn your hand and like kiss your hand.
Yeah.
He does that thing.
Kira is suddenly very awkward, I think, and her cheeks go. She's like, oh, okay.
Saren visibly finds this adorable.
And he'll turn to you, Saren, as the last and oldest person, and he'll be like, he does the thing where in his head the wheels are turning. Do I call you ma'am, or will that make you think I think you're old? But am I polite? Like, is it polite to call you ma'am, or is it rude to not call you? Like, he like does the like. Like he starts to say ma'am, and he like stops, and then he like thinks about it, and he just like, mademoiselle, and it just settles on mad.
All right, Saren watches this for a minute because it's funny. There's nothing funnier than someone a good 20 years younger than you trying to figure out, are they grown enough to address you as an equal? Are they gonna start a fight if they address you as an elder?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm right at that age bracket now where I will watch people do that. I know it's mean, so I won't let them do it for long. So Saren watches that happen for a minute before they reach out their hand and take his and shake it firmly before he can do any of that hand kissing nonsense. I remember you when you were small. You almost fell off your uncle's ship at the Geldspar shipyards when you were 6.
You will literally see his ears go bright, like nothing else changes on his face, but his ears go like bright red. Like, I remember that happening. I have no idea who you are. How do you know about that? He's like, yes.
Sorcha needs to roll not to laugh at that.
That would be me.
Sorcha needs to roll not to start snickering at that.
Okay, Sorcha, roll a
willpower.
It's not willpower. It's not willpower. Actually, can you do that?
I'm saying that's willpower to not laugh at that.
No, it is a willpower roll. Yes, roll a willpower. I didn't see the dice roller for willpower. You need to roll meet or beat a 6. Oh, look, you do not laugh.
Wow.
You rolled.
Okay.
Congratulations, you do not laugh. I'm gonna fight these cats. I'm gonna get up and. Oh no, it's just okay. Never mind. They're fine.
Saren reaches out and claps him on the shoulder. Well, we were all 6 and small at some point, and now you look like you're growing into a fine man. Do me a favor, my fine young man.
He'll
Take my
nod.
friend Kira here, the business owner, a fine representative of Geldspar. And why don't you introduce her to people her own age, the next generation? And
Kira?
I put my hands on both of them and I kind of pat them towards Trixie, who is maybe a little less slick than she thinks she
Oh
is.
no, she literally like if so as you so like the way like you're standing, he can see over his shoulder at them. You can directly see them, but they think they're slick enough to like give him a thumbs up. But clearly they're not slick enough to give him a like it didn't work. Like Kira may not have noticed, Sorcha may not have noticed. Theron noticed. Doesn't say anything, but notices the like thumbs up, like you've done like the under the table thumbs up, like you've done a good job. And Kira, you're being shoved towards these other young adults.
Yeah. So yeah, Kira will be like, oh yeah, and she'll probably actually lean and whisper, because so Kira she's not socially oblivious. She's just like very
Never done
she's
it before.
generally very confident and like just not bothered by the social norms normally. So yeah, she's just pretty free with, she's not normally bothered by what people think of her. And she also doesn't think much before she does things. So she sort of goes in being like, oh yeah, this is fine. And then now she's seen like, oh, actually, maybe this is a bit more awkward than it was going to be. So she's probably like noticed that they're giving their sly thumbs up and stuff. And so, you know, she's like, ah, maybe this is a little more awkward than I thought. But she's still pretty confident. So she'll just be like, seems like you drew the short straw of coming to talk to me.
He's gonna go, and he'll like do like the like, I'm thinking of what to say, but that's not a lie, but also, no. It would, and he like thinks about it. There are just certain expectations in which Piper and Trixie could not approach you.
Huh. Is that like the expectation of how you have both a small and a big ballroom?
Wait, what? Sorry, no, I'm asking me, person is asking me, wait, what?
She's like, is that like expectations and norms of having 2 rooms for parties dependent on their size?
He will be like, yes, it's one of those stuffy old people rules. It's one of those stuffy old people expectations that we maintain out of tradition. And like the way he says tradition, he says it like, you know the way like your grandparents lecture you about how to set a proper table, but you don't really care because who the fuck gives a shit about a salad fork? It's like that.
Yeah.
Like someone drilled this into my head, therefore I'm telling you that this is what's meant to, but I think it's silly.
Yeah.
What
Kira's
really
gonna be
is
like,
the difference between a hand towel and a face towel, right?
Exactly. Like who really cares? They're both small towels. They're both warm and wet. What difference does it make?
Kira's gonna be like, and never really got behind that whole tradition thing, and you know, unless it made some kind of actual sense, just seems like a rule for people to force you to do things a certain way just because they want it, even though it doesn't make any sense, you know.
He'll nod like, no, yeah. And so by the time you've had this conversation, you've arrived at Piper and Trixie. And he'll do the like, this is Kira, she is a businesswoman from Gelsbar. And he like says it like you're more he says it like you're more important than you probably think you are.
Oh yeah.
He says it like this is an important person that is from Gelsbar. We should respect them because they're a business person all in their own right, and we technically are just like air. Like we are not like you're like in terms of like experience, you're like his uncle's level of work experience, where he does not have your level of experience. So therefore, you are in theory more important than he is.
Mhm.
The same age, which is impressive. And Piper and Trixie will both introduce herself. Trixie will introduce herself as Trixie, even though she'll be like, only no one really calls me Beatrix, but it's just Trixie. Like she'll tell you her name is Beatrix, but like in the please don't call me Beatrix.
Yeah. I'll be like Trixie and sorry, what was the other person's name?
Piper.
Trixie Piper. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Kira. It's nice place you have. Yeah, I'm down in Geldspar. I mean, it's not much. I've just had the shop for like, I don't know, 5 years or so now. So just do what I can.
They both look at, again, they look impressed in the way of like, in theory, we're going to be running things eventually, probably way bigger than your business, but we currently don't do that. Therefore, again, you have more real world experience in the thing that they are going to go into doing. And so they'll start making they'll start asking you questions about like what you sell, what you do, how long have you been in business, like what, like did you inherit it from your family, like that sort of like the we're getting to know you while also like pumping you for information while giving next to no information about themselves unless you ask for it. Neither actually, and of the three of them, no one asks why you're there. Like, no one, like none of them ask how you got an invitation. Like that's just not a question that they ask.
Yeah, so she will probably say quite a lot. She doesn't normally get to talk about this. So yeah, she'll be like, oh, yeah, I mean, I just set it up myself, my family. We needed a bit of extra help. I've got, quite a lot of brothers. So yeah, I just sort of set it up, got some stuff. I had a knack for making things. This is the thing I've been working on most recently. And she like just gets out like a little, it's kind of like, I imagine it's like the equivalent of, you get those little teeny tiny torches like on your keyring in like an emergency that you can be like, shh. It's like that, but it's like crystal powered.
Oh,
and she's just like,
and,
found this, cobbled it together. I just make stuff like that, fix up people's things.
They're impressed, but not like, so like when someone's impressed, but they're like humoring you. They're impressed, but they're not humoring you. They're like genuinely impressed with what you've done because again, they're not okay. So in the time that you're talking to them and talking with them, you can tell that the three of them are spoiled, but aware of that. They have self-awareness to recognize we have lived privileged, silver spoon, sheltered lives. And so they're like, this is like the coolest. You're not the coolest person that they've ever met in theory, but you're the coolest new person that they've ever met at this particular sort of event.
Yeah.
And they'll ask you questions about Gelsmar, like what it's like down there, like they've never been, they've tried, but like and Piper will specifically state that her security detail won't let, like she'll like, so this is when you'll notice like off behind like a pillar is a woman like just sort of like loitering, and she'll be like, my security, not security, my word, guardians have never let me would never let me go to Gelsbar alone. So I've never seen I've only seen the nice part of Gelsbar, but she says nice part of Gelsbar without the air quotes, but like you can tell that there are air quotes around the word nice. Like she doesn't physically make the air quotes, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I would highly recommend it. In fact, you should come down like soon. I'm happy to show you around. We've actually just we've still got a few parties going, from the new crystal. It's a pretty good vibe down there at the moment.
when you say party, Trixie and Piper both like look at each other like interesting. Like, so another point of reference, another way to make this reference. You know how when you are in college, like you're a freshman and you go to your first like not fancy party, like your first like house party?
Mm-hmm.
They look like that. Like, oh, we've just been invited to the cool kids party, not the boring adult people party that we've been going to our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is, they're like, yes, what Lloyd is saying, what Floyd is saying. If these kids crash this red market party, yeah, they're like, we've never. And then, but as they're saying it, you can hear you hear someone walk up behind you and like clear their throat. And it is going to be. I want it to be Dawson. I want it to be Dawson. No, actually, it's going to be Baron Maddox. Mm-hmm. He has finally made his way around the room to the children. And so he will introduce himself to you because he doesn't know you. And he'll be like, I assume, I believe you're a friend of Saren's and Sorcha? How do you do?
Oh, yeah. You must be the Baron, right?
Correct.
It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Kira. Sorry I'm late. Not very good at timekeeping.
Understandable. You're in time for dinner. There is no. It's not. He's saying it's not that kind. He'll say it's not that kind of party that you can be late to. But also you can tell he's lying. He's saying that to make you feel better. Oh, and he'll be like, "So what do you like?" He does the same thing that Piper and Trixie did. Like, what do you do? And he like is like listening, but he's listening like he's like 50 something, like late 40s, early 50s. So he's like Sarah's age, and he's gonna listen as you talk, like what's the word for it? The way adults ask you how college is going. Like, I care about what you're saying, but also these words mean nothing to me. It's been decades since I was in college.
Yeah. I think Kira does that thing where she launches into like a response that's full of like passion and like, you know, stuff she really cares about. And then halfway through the conversation, she realizes that like, you know, he's not really, he didn't want that much information, right? Like he cares because, you know, it's good to know that it's good, but actually doesn't care to hear the details.
Yeah.
And then she's sort of slowly backtracking of like less information and being more like, yeah, so it's good.
Like he asked like what you do and how are you, in the same way someone asked you what you do and how are you, and they expect you to say fine. But you asked for fine.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, don't worry about it. It was and he'll go riveting. He literally will say it was riveting. He'll like, the thing about it is, as you were talking, he would like prompt you with questions about what you were saying. So you could tell he was listening, but he also, it's like me trying to explain anime to my mother. She's asking me questions, but she doesn't know what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, I know this feeling hard.
You're excited. Like,
this is where my family ask me about my PhD, and I'm like, it's these things. And then they're like, okay, I don't really care about that much detail, though. I care that you care, but I don't really like.
I'm happy you're happy. And so he'll ask you, so with the new crystal in Gelsbar, how is it, he'll look over your shoulder at Saren. I know, Miss Saren? Saren, do you have a last name?
Liking Clutch.
Liking Clutch. Well, it is a Miss or Ms?
Mix.
Huh?
Mix.
Mix Liking Clutch was like, told me that it, and he'll like gives you some details about what Saren had said about Gelsbar and what it needed. But like I'd like to hear more about it from another source.
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you. I've I mean, I was going to take a proper look at it at some point, but it's, you know, the mood hasn't quite settled down there yet. So when everyone's a bit more chill, I was going to go, you know, take a look at it, see how it's functioning, just with what I can do.
Yeah.
I can, you know, if you want me to report back or whatever, I'm happy to do that.
No, he says it, like when you say it, he has no idea what you're talking about.
The crystal.
Oh, you, and then he'll be like, oh, you know things about crystals.
I mean a bit. I, you know, come across them a bit. And she sort of realizes what she's done at this point and is like, yeah, just, you know, you learn stuff.
And he's like, he looks very like, so like before he looked like politely interested, but now he like, so he has like one of those uncomfortably interested looks on his face, but like polite about it, but like really intense, like, I'm going to pump you for information this second, like, and you're young. I can totally rob you, not rob you blind, but run information from you so much easier than Farron.
So I think what Kira does is she actually like looks to what have the other three been doing during this?
Like, they're sort of trying to eavesdrop.
Boundary screen.
The other three, the kids, Piper
so
and everyone.
Piper looks a little annoyed, like, but annoyed in the sense that it's annoyed in the way like when your parents ask your friends how they're doing, like that. Like, why are you embarrassing me, Dad? Go away.
So to the other fellow kids, Kira is going to basically like look and flash a thing of like, help me, and see if they my newfound friends might come to my aid.
They will. When Piper sees your come help me, she like elbows Trixie. Like again, Pixie, not Pixie. The Baron is not facing them. Like it's not that kind of like anyway. The shape of the thing.
Yeah. Imagine they're like just behind what I could
like
see
he didn't
behind
cut in
her.
front of them, but like he's not like she like like she's like okay. So the thing about Piper is, she is born and raised in a very specific kind of nouveau rich, polite society. We do all things the old way. No one would know we're new money, but everyone knows we're new money. Like we don't act like we're new money, but everyone knows it because, well, it's obvious. It's like it's recent enough that it's known information. And so she's mastered the art of being subtle when need be, and the Baron is also not really like paying direct attention to her. When she nudges Trixie, she'll be like, and so Trixie will step up and be like, I'm studying. Actually, is this in here? No, it is in here. She'll be like, oh, when you start talking about crystals, are you familiar with the where are you, Science Council? Are you familiar with the Academy of Science? She'll ask you like, have you studied there? Do you know anything about it? Anything like that?
So I think.
So as an aside, so I'll tell you, the Academy of Science is the Institute for Higher Learning. It's the equivalent of college, or it's the equivalent of a specialized college in Ardell. It teaches other things besides science, but like it's named the Academy of Science. It serves, it teaches you like literature, history, civics, economics, like anything that you need to know, they teach there. But like it's called the Academy of Science. But like the way everybody's called a doctor when you get a PhD, but they're not technically a doctor, it's called the Academy of Science, but they don't just teach science.
Yeah. Because everything can be called a science of some kind.
Exactly.
Just like a social science or a whatever science.
Instead of a hard science or a soft science, it's the Academy of Science. So she'll ask you like, have you been? Are you like? Because you're you're younger than them. You're of the correct age to be currently going to the Academy of Science, but clearly you're from Gelspar, so clearly you haven't gone. But she's asking just in case you have, like trying to divert the conversation into. So, what are you studying? Like, are you studying crystals? Like, is that like what you're doing with your life? Like,
so Kira would be like, well, I mean, I don't really know anyone that goes there. Pretty much everything I've done has been self-taught, you know? Kind of learn by doing. I've just, crystals have always been kind of fascinating.
And she'll be like, well, you know Sorcha, and she'll look over at Sorcha, who I believe
Sorcha's fairly nearby.
Um,
She'll pretend to. She'll make a grand thing of noticing she's been noticed and give a wave.
I know she's from the archives. I'm assuming you have like, and she'll make the assumption that you have. She'll say like, I assume that you have access to the books and all the stuff at the archive at the least, and I'm sure that's a valuable resource for your like. So the thing. So what Trixie is trying to do, though. You can tell me whether it's successful. Well, she's trying to keep the conversation into something that you're interested in, but also make it so you don't have to answer the Baron's questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, answer my questions, and my questions are totally about about your educational level and not directly about the crystal.
Yeah. So the thing is, for the second time today, Kira's gonna get super red-faced. Because Kira's never really learned from books. She's not hugely great, even just at reading generally. So she's just gonna be like, I know Sorcha, she's great. I guess I haven't used the archives all that much, but maybe in the future, and she's for the first time is kind of like,
and like, so
please don't ask me about books I've read.
Trixie will do the thing where she recognizes, she's like, oh, I've done something bad. That didn't go how I thought it was gonna go. Shit. And you can see her wheels. So she's like, so what do you do? So what are your hobbies besides working on crystals? Like the blatant, the unsmooth transition into let's talk about something else. But as she asks you that, the major domo will come back into the room and like ring like a little crystal bell thing that's like it's a dainty little thing, but like it gives like a clear ringing noise that like resonates through the whole room above every other sound. And he'll be like, and everyone will sort of turn and look at him, and he'll be like, dinner is being served if you'd like to make your way into the dining room. Right, that's what those are called? Yeah, dining room.
Yeah. So Kira will sort of visibly be like, whew, as I'm assuming Baron Maddox sort of goes off, and she'll
Baron
sort of
will do the. He does the weird, like not the weird thing, but he does the thing where he offers his arm to Piper, and she takes it. Like this is the polite thing to do. Trixie wanders off to go find her dad. And Oliver offers his arm to you because he's here with his uncle, so therefore they don't do the whole let me escort you into the.
So Kira will be like, take Oliver's arm, and be like, and sort of lean in a bit and be like, your parties are a lot more stressful than the ones I'm used to. You should come to one of mine. It will be better.
He does the polite laughing thing. Like he's like he wants to laugh, but he's like covering it with a polite, like a not the laugh he wants, not the loud laugh he wants to give, but like the polite. My parents are watching me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like, I'm sure we would have a great time.
And then I can find out why you're interesting. Because no one is boring, remember?
And he, again, turns red in the ears. Because he doesn't understand. He thinks you're flirting. You're probably not flirting, but he doesn't know.
He's a little bit.
He's aware enough to know, but he's also used to hanging around. Like, so the thing about Piper, Trixie, Oliver, is they all have the same friend group, and you know how like you don't date your friends, but like they're all sort of engaged to one another because it's the interfamily mingling things. Like they have no say in who they get married to, arranged marriage. So like he's not used to people he doesn't know flirting with him. He's not used to people flirting with him. He's just not used to it being like someone he doesn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, I guess we could find out. Oh,
It's like a
He,
kind of from Kira. It's like a kind of flirting, but just like she's just friendly with people as
Yeah.
well. So it's like a bit of both.
So Saren, Sorcha, you are going toward, like, I'm assuming you find one another and go towards the dining hall.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Sorcha's not missing free food.
cool. I have no comment. Like I have no comment. I have no comment. I have nothing to add
Y'all
to
knew
that.
what I was for you let me on this show. You especially.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I did love my friend. It's fine. Is there a cat somewhere near me? I don't know what's happening. So the major domo is like gesturing everyone into like the next room, which is where the dining room is, and the dining room has like a really long table. And Baron Maddox goes to the head of the table. Is there a chair at the other end of this table? Did I do that? No, there is no chair directly across from him. Rather, there is a chair, but there's no place setting at that chair. Because like if he had, say, a wife, she would sit there, but he doesn't have a wife, so no one sits across from him. But Piper sits to his. Where's Piper sitting? Piper sits to his left. A woman that you don't know sits to his right, and everyone sort of like knows where they're sitting. Like everyone sort of goes to the table, like they know where they're supposed to go at the table. Like it's not assigned seating, but they're all sitting with their friends. And so, Kira, you're in the awkward situation of you can sit next to Oliver and his uncle, or you could break away and go find Saren and Sorcha.
Sorcha tells Myron to go sit with her.
Okay. Wait, sit with Kira?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
That
better if
sounds
they
good.
with the excuse it's better if they spread out because they can hear more gossip that way.
Mm-hmm.
Marin will head your way. What does Marin look like? Marin is just the intern. I don't know I didn't write what Marin looks like. We'll decide that later.
I mean, Marin's probably pretty young too, compared to all the other adults, because intern, but
20-ish.
you know,
It's 20-ish.
It's a job, not a party for Marin.
I'm working, not
yeah.
So do you actually? But first, Kira, do you try to go towards Saren, Marin, and Sorcha, or do you let Oliver lead you towards where he's sitting?
I think so. I think as I realize that's happening, I take a look over to Saren and be like, okay, and I'll like nod and I will go along with it.
So he will sit you, so it'll, let me write this down. Let me draw a new table. Baron, Piper, Oliver, Kira, what's your name? Dawson. So there are a couple seats left. Sorry, I'm making a seating chart, which is unimportant in the grand scheme of things, except for my brain needs to know where everyone's currently sitting in order to know who's talking to who. Let's see. Give me 2 seconds and then I'll show you what it looks like. Glenn, and then Lewis, and Becca. So, Saren and Sorcha, where do you like? Actually, here, let me just do this. Can we all see my little seating chart, even though the letters are backwards? Actually, wait a second. Let me fix my camera. One moment, please. Video settings. Mirror my video. Okay. Sorry that I just flipped around, everyone. It's going to be confusing for a moment, but I just did the thing. Okay. Now is my letters right side up? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know, I have shitty handwriting. Can we all read that?
Yep.
So that's where everyone currently is sitting. The Baron is at the top of the table. Piper's to his right. Not Kira. Becca, then Lewis, then Dawson, then Oliver, then Kira, then Marin are on the other side of the table, and then I'll scatter the other guests depending on where Saren and Sorcha sit.
Sorcha will probably try to sit in the more central area of the table so that she can hear the most.
Okay, so I'm gonna sit you next to Trixie, that means you're across from Dawson and Oliver and Kira.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully she's cool enough to sit with Trixie.
No one will. The thing about the way of seating is, no one will stop you if you get to a chair and just sit in it. Like, if there's no assigned seating, but like everyone who came together is sitting together.
Is a joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand jokes in real life or on text. Without smiley faces. If there's no emoji, I don't know what's happening. Sharon.
It looked like there's a seat up at the head of the table on the other side of Piper. I am so nearsighted. I got as close to that screen as I could.
There's in fact a seat, but next to Becca and next to the Baron. No one has sat there yet.
All right, and that was up near Lewis and his wife.
Yes.
Yeah, Becca. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take that seat.
Okay. When you sit next to the Baron, he like looks at you and like smiles, but like it's like a how do you describe this? It's not all teeth, but like it's like, I am pleased to see you. This will be interesting. Or rather, it's the I have something up my sleeve smile. Please enjoy the show. Smile. But he wasn't expecting you to sit next to him, but it doesn't matter. But now that you are there, he's just like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. So as a note, it goes Saren, Becca, Lewis, Dawson, Oliver, Kira, Marin, and then everyone else is on the other side, and then Glenn, Trixie, Sorcha, and who's on the other side of Sorcha? Sorcha, for the sake of this conversation, let's put Harriet over there. And then, what's her babysitter's name? Oh, wait, I did that wrong. It's Elise. Harriet. X person. Sorcha, who are you? Do I want to set you next to your okay, that's fine. Give me 2 seconds and we'll do the thing. Actually, you know what? We're gonna take our break right now while I figure out the seating chart. How about that? So everyone, we will be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. While I figure out the seating chart real fast. Because I need to know where everyone's sitting to figure out how to fuck everyone's life up. So be right back. Wave it.
Waving.
Okay, I'm
Hello,
waving.
I'm
We're
waving.
back. We're back. Okay. So in terms of seating, in terms of who's sitting next to who, so it goes Sarah's sitting next to Baron on one side, Becca on the other side. Becca being Lewis, whatever Lewis's last name is, Moore's wife, second wife. Kira's sitting next to Oliver and Marin. Marin being the intern, Oliver being Dawson's nephew. Sorcha sitting next to Trixie on one side and Augustus Krell on the other side. And Piper sitting next to Baron Maddox on one side and Elise, who I don't think you've met, but Kira will know that Kira will recognize Elise as the woman who was standing in the background behind Piper, like standing watching Piper. Not creepily, but like I'm in charge of this young person's safety and well-being. I am not taking my eyes off of her because she will get up to some shit.
Basically the person that we need to
ditch to go to a party.
ditch, yeah.
Correct. She is exactly the person you need to ditch to go to a party.
Remind me again who Krell is, or Augustus Krell is.
Augustus Krell is, let me see. He is mentioned in my book. That's massive.
He's the one with the Krell is the journal that we're stealing, but
But so Glenn Lee had the Krell family journal. That's what it was.
But who is Augustus Krell?
Oh, he's like the great grandkid. So if he's the current living Krell family person. I guess it's the best way to describe him.
How old is he? What's his standing?
He is. He's like 30. Yeah, he's like 30.
Sort of
30-ish. Huh? Yeah. About. And he is a scientific man of leisure.
I like that description.
Yeah. Augustus Krell, you will know, is the dude who he does science stuff, again, like the Academy of Science is the Academy of all kinds of science, not just like science. And he's went to the academy, he's relatively smart, like let me put this, he's not uneducated or, generally speaking, stupid, but he also sort of just manages his family's business. He's a lawyer. Not a lawyer, he's a barrister. He's a non-practicing lawyer. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
He has a law degree, he doesn't use it for anything. He didn't need to get it, he just got it because that's like my parents expected me to do something with my life. So I went to law school and then I did nothing. Like I don't need to do anything.
That's fair. He's got all the money in the world, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you say he's a scientific man of leisure, so he is it sort of a front where he's like, yes, I am very interested in the sciences, and then he just doesn't get it? Or like, is it legitimately like, hey, I got a law degree, but I'm just gonna be all sciencey over here because this is what I'm actually interested in?
He is like
the kind, is it scientific man of leisure where his science contributes nothing, it's just something he's interested in? Or is he like, yes, I'm a scientist, but he's more so doing the science to sound smart?
No, it's more like he occasionally does, like okay, I know what I'm gonna do with him. He occasionally shows up at the archive to like borrow books and like read things, and every once in a while he'll like write like a vaguely interesting article that he'll put in a magazine of some sort of like educational journal. Um, but like he does it for shits and giggles, not because he has to. Like, is he a blogger? No, he's not even like
It's oh, I found this cool thing. I'm gonna write a scientific paper about it.
yeah, like I found this cool thing. I did this research.
So
It's
so
cool.
he's the I do this for fun tinkering kind of thing rather than trying to strut it around and sound smart kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Like if
Like
you ask him about it, he'll talk about it, but like he doesn't think anyone really cares about his work. But he doesn't do anything. Is that not what a blogger is? I don't know what a blogger is. Then I don't know.
like his work is fairly asinine, but it's but like it interests him, so
Yeah.
therefore it is important to him.
Correct. And it's interesting to other people in theory, but like not like world breaking, groundbreaking. It's like he invented a new mousetrap. Like in theory, that's interesting, but like, why did you make a new mousetrap? The old mousetrap worked just fine.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person he is. And he has a law degree because that's what his family expected him to do. Like he's like, you need to go to school for something. Well, I might as well be a barista. Not barista, barrister. Two wildly different
Those
things.
are two yeah.
Wildly different things. Barrister.
But can you do both at the same time?
Correct. You can. You can. But he is not.
Sorcha, Sorcha probably is like enjoys his visits because they're so weird.
Yeah, like he's like the kind of person. Actually, let me continue to build Augustus Krell's backstory. He's the kind of person who wakes up, has a passing thought about maybe I want to study this thing today. Goes to the archive, picks up a book, reads the reference books, and then goes, okay, cool, write some stuff down, and then goes, okay, I'm done. And he showed, and his family is also a minor merchant family, but like that's where he gets his money from. But like it's not like the be all to end all for him personally. But
That's
like
fair. Okay.
it's just like a thing that his family's done, and therefore he does. Again, he's in imports and exports. He doesn't really know what they sell. He just knows they sell things, and he's just like, that's cool. He checks that the books are balanced and that the income is right and that they're in the green or in the black, not in the red. And he's just like, cool, someone else manages it for the day-to-day business.
All right.
So dinner gets served, and like several servants come out and like put food on plates, and like I'm gonna say that they're serving the equivalent of like salmon and like grilled asparagus with like mashed potatoes. But like you start off with a soup and a salad. Like a small, and like it's like regular sized food, but like on tiny plates. Actually, no. It's a correct portion of food, but on a tiny plate.
How trendy.
Yeah, like, cause you know how like there's those fancy places that have those like there's like a tiny amount of food on a very large plate. It's like a regular amount of food on a not tiny plate, but like a regular sized plate. Like it's not like it's clearly fancy dinnerware, but like it's also clear like Baron Maddox doesn't want you to starve. Like this isn't a steak eat like 3 things and then make conversation dinner. This is an eat your dinner and make like eat your dinner conversation sort of place. So Baron Maddox will say a toast to like the future of Ardell and Gelspar. When he mentions the future of Gelspar, he'll nod towards Saren, and our future business interests and future business interactions and growth as a I'll say country, growth as a country, as a civilization. Our continued well-being and blah 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 blah, a bunch of polite words that really mean nothing, but everyone sort of like claps. And the food appears, and everyone sort of like starts eating, and like there's some like chitter chatter, but like nothing's happening yet. Like everyone's just making like, oh, the salmon's really good. It's like, where'd you get this fish from? I don't know where you get fish from in the sky, but whatever. You know what I mean.
Really long fishing line.
Yeah. It's so fresh. It's out of season. How did you find it? Like, who did you trade with? That sort of conversation. Anyone have anything that they'd like to do during dinner?
Towards a little later on in the dinner, when things slow down a little bit, Georgia is going to turn to Krell and just be like, "So, what's the project this time?"
He will look at you and be like, actually, let's do the thing. I'll tell you what he's working on. As soon as my computer stops going. Where the frick is that button? Oh, there it is. It is. No, what the fuck is that? No, what the fuck is that? No, what the fuck is. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm like doing the Wikipedia thing, and I just got 4 articles about football and like 2 about sports, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? He's going to be like, my current research project is on colloquial Northern Axia poetry, and I'm currently doing a translation of Northern Axia poetry from Middle Axian to Modern Axian.
Oh, interesting. What are the patterns in the language that you're studying? Is there anything you're getting hung up on?
He's gonna be like,
Middle Axian is quite difficult at times.
He's like,
there's a lot of subtleties in the language.
He's like, the tonal differences are so strange, or not strange, are so nuanced, and like, I don't really, like, I think I sort of understand what they were saying, but I don't really understand the meaning, because clearly there's a meaning. Like, he's doing why is a yellow wallpaper, what does a yellow wallpaper mean in the yellow wallpaper thing? He doesn't he doesn't understand what's happening. Like, you know, like when your teacher's like, but the words have deeper meaning, the author was implying this. He's talking like, I don't know what the author was implying, but I sort of translated, I've got the direct translation. I'm trying to figure out the implications, which involve looking up history books and all this stuff. Like, he just goes off on a, like...
It doesn't necessarily have to mean something. It can just be a statement. If you know about the pop culture and the current events of the time and date and the author's, you know, life and economic status, you can find out a lot about what the poem means, and
he's gonna nod and agree, like, yes. So I'm like having to like cross-reference like authors, because he's like, the book that I'm reading is like a book of poetry, not just a book by one person. It's a collection of poems that someone has put together, and like they appear to be what's the word for them? Hold on a second. I need to look something up real fast. Oops, I need to look something up real fast. What's the books of the Bible? I can't remember what they're called, but I know the one I'm looking for. The one with all the stupid songs.
Aren't there a couple of those?
No, I know the one I'm looking for, though. Psalms, thank you. It's a book, thank you. See, it's only one of them that anyone cares about. Yeah, the also really horny one. It looks like a book of poems about various historical events from Middle Axian history, and like uh 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 uh, uh and like relationships, and like the way culture was being formed in arts and education, and it's like, it's the equivalent of, oh no, right, it's Song of Solomon is what I'm saying, not Psalms. Psalms is the songs about God Solomon's the one about relationships, I think. That sounds right. I don't remember. I'm a bad Christian.
Sorcha went from like, I'm interested because this is my career to I'm interested because this is legitimately my interest.
Yeah. And so the two of I listen. I could world build a lot here. I could, but I'm not going to because my brain can't handle it right now. But assume that he tells you about like he's talking about um like it's a okay. So what the book that he's currently reading is a book by a bunch of different people about like so you know how Shakespeare wrote fanfic?
Yeah.
It's like that, but poetry formed. So technically correct historical events, but totally also wildly not true. But like with metaphors and like secret meanings and like
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Does the archives have a copy of this book? Because this is a book that Sorcha is extremely interested in. This falls in line with her interest in history and culture. So has she read?
She's not read it, but the archive probably does have a copy of it.
Okay, she will make a note of the title for later.
He will tell you the title of the book is Songs of the People Who Live. I'll write that in chat. History book, history poetry book. It's Songs of the People Who Flew, and so you know from historical reference that actually, okay, so backstory. Everyone's here for this backstory. Like everyone's here for this backstory. Axia used to be a solid piece of thing. Like it was a solid continent prior to being a bunch of floating continents. And so this book is written so about 1,000 years ago, there was a thing called, I think I've mentioned this, there was a thing called the Calamity, and the Calamity broke the planet apart, but no one really knows why that happened. It just sort of happened. So this book is written after the Calamity, but before anything was sort of settled. Like, we just recently went through this terrible ordeal. Let's document our history.
Okay.
Huh? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorcha will then say, "That's actually similar to what I'm researching right now. I'm looking into a lot of old legends, seeing what I can piece together because there's all these mysterious stories surrounding everything that's been going on. I just want to see if I can find a cohesive narrative in it all. It sounds it's so interesting. Like all of these old legends, they have to line up somehow, and maybe the legends tell a just a fantastic story. I don't think we'll ever really know the real meaning of it, but I think having that story, that legend, to get people's imaginations going, don't you think that would create all sorts of new poetry, don't you think?
He will be like, yes, that, and like he goes off on this whole tangent about the what's the word for it? How do you describe it? So you know how there was that period of time in the U.S. where art was really important, and we did all those fancy projects, and like they spent all this money making pretty shit.
Yeah.
And then we stopped doing that, and everything went to shit.
Like a cultural renaissance kind of thing.
Yeah. So he's going to talk about how Axia, as a whole, both as the continent that is Ardell and Gelspor, need a cultural renaissance. Or like it's time for one. Like when the fuck is it gonna happen? You guys are late on this shit. But also no one's done it yet. So like he's gonna have to do it himself. God damn it, if I have to. He's like, I'm gonna take him. Yeah.
As soon as she gets a break in the conversation, she's gonna be like, "Hey, you know what? I bet Geldspar, considering how long they've been apart, has a completely different, they have such different culture. Imagine what it'd be like if we took that culture and turned that into art too, and then we could make this an entire Renaissance thing where we have all of these poetries and art and books written about all this." And she's really like she's legitimately excited about this. She's not even like trying to play it up. She's
Yeah. So question: how loud are you being? Because he has no concept of like this indoor voice.
She's not um she's escalating a little with him, and she's it's probably clear to everyone at the table they're talking about nerdy things.
So
The equivalent.
because it is so you will notice there'll be like a moment where like he goes to pick up his glass like take some water because he's like talking so much his mouth is dried out. When you notice that like more than half of the table is staring at the two of you. Like, what are these nerds up to staring at you? Saren.
Sorch is just gonna look at everyone, just look around and smile and be like, art! Art is wonderful!
Saren, Kira, Switch has gone full nerd on you. Like,
I mean, hopefully, and that's a context that these rich people can understand.
oh no, they understand the context. They just think like. So again, there's no equivalent to like the Medici in this universe, but like everyone sort of understands like in the like art is a thing that happens in Axia and Gelspar and Ardell, but like no, not to the level of like the Italian Renaissance or the Harlem. Like it's not that level of art. It's like prior to that level of art where like people think art is important, but no one really cares about doing it. Like it's just like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's cool. Again, there are books about history being written by the archives.
She,
And
you know what? I know what Sorch is gonna look at Krell and just like wave her hands like, isn't it great? You know, I just had an amazing idea. What if we had sort of a culture of bringing the cultures together of the two different cities, and we can see how things have changed, and how what we might want to do going forward, and everything can be expressed in different ways, and she's just like she's both gushing about her interests and trying to drop like some like she's also here for a reason, bringing the cities together and doing that sort of thing, and getting Baron. She's talking as much to the table as much as directly to like her companions and Baron Maddox as well.
Okay. Yeah, so I was gonna say, so as you're saying this, Baron Maddox is clearly like he's clearly like listening to this conversation happen, even though you're like really far like the table. So the thing about the table is, again, it's a large table, but it's not large enough that you have to like shout across the table. Like it's not that big of a table. Like you could theoretically, like as you stretch your feet and like wiggle your toes a bit, you could probably touch the person on the other side of the table. Like
the room's probably got decent acoustics too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's designed with the intent of like you sitting at a table and everyone hearing you, without having to shout. So Baron Maddox will be like, he'll like clear his throat, and like he'll be like, are you a doctor? Torture. Like, what is your title?
I don't know. What would the? I mean, she probably definitely went to like she's definitely studied. She's definitely had like the full higher education.
Okay.
And I don't know if her you know what? Like, it'd be funny if she had the title of professor.
Okay. So as Professor Sorcha is speaking with actually Sorcha, do you have a last name? Rain. No. What's your last name? Keegan. As Professor Keegan is saying, he will say, we are here. This is a perfect segue. Now he won't say perfect segue. He's like, this is a perfect this is a great opportunity for me to not gauge the interest. How does he want to say this? I'm gonna say this. He's saying the equivalent of, this is a perfect opportunity for me to gauge the interest that people have in potentially merging the cultures of Ordell and Gelsmore for the betterment of our shared community. I think everyone sort of forgot that Sorch is a professor because Sorch is the kind of person who's a professor who doesn't actually ever doesn't actually ever go to like their classes. Like you write your lesson plans and you hand them to your TA and then you go disappear into the stacks. Like you're a professor for the access to the library, not for the desire to teach people.
Like she's a type of professor that does like a lot of the one-on-one like teaching and tutoring and is really eccentric, but no one really wants her in the classroom because she's all over the place, but she's also really smart.
Yeah, you're a non-asshole version of Snape. Like really good at what you do, but not a good teacher.
Exactly.
And so Baron Maddox will say, so as the professor is saying, as Galspar has gotten a new crystal, I believe that it is time for Ardell to help lift Galspar into a position of equity and what's the word? Not equity and
for the betterment of all.
No, I mean, yes, equity and something for the betterment of all. I believe, huh?
Equity and prosperity.
Yes, that'll work. I believe that it is time for Ardell to, and he'll like clear his throat again. Mend the bridges that we have long since neglected with Gelsmar. And he'll look at you, Saren, which is why I've invited are you a doctor? Like a doctor or a regular or like not doctor?
No, not a doctor.
Okay. Mademoiselle your last name?
Lichen Clutch.
Lichen Clutch, thank you. While I've invited Mademoiselle Lichen Clutch and her companion, Miss Tully, to dinner with us today. And there's like some polite like chitter chatter of like, so this is the game that he's playing.
Hopefully Krell and the others are on our side at this point.
Krell is interested in what you've just like he's interested in the same way you're interested in the historical relevancy of these current modern events. Not in the like if Gelsbar splits from Ardell, he's interested because of the historical reason of Gelsbar splitting from Ardell. If Gelsbar stays with Ardell, he's interested in why they made the decision to stay with Ardell. Like
yes.
He has no horse in this race. He just cares about the thing about the books that will be written about the event. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And so
hopefully they're the more
Dawson, our good friend Anderson.
Oh goody.
Will like not chortle, but he makes a sound that's like he scoffs. He scoffs when and he'll be like, I don't understand why you think that we should meddle in the affairs of others when there's no benefit, no direct payoff, no no they're not on fire. They are currently not on fire. Why are we offering them water?
Does he literally say that?
No, but actually, yes. Why he will say they are not on fire. Why are we offering them a hose? Or rather, he's gonna actually. You know what he's gonna say? And actually, no. I'm gonna keep correcting myself. He does say that, and then he goes, and he thinks about it. He goes, actually, Gelsmore is smoldering. Why are you currently offering them a hose?
Sorcha's just gonna look at him. She's gonna somewhat rudely put her elbows on the table, put her chin in her hand, and she's just gonna stare at him, smiling, and say, "What happens when you take a hammer to a flagstone?"
He'll look at you like, I don't fucking know. But like, I don't understand this question. I also don't understand this question, but he also doesn't understand this question.
She'll lean forward and repeat herself. What happens when you take a hammer to a flagstone, a cornerstone,
It cracks.
important stone?
I don't.
And what happens when that cornerstone is supporting one of the corners of your mansion?
He makes a face at you because he understands what you're saying, but he doesn't like it.
It's not about. I don't think what this is about. This meeting that. Oh, honestly, as you all know, I'm not really. Either way, I get what I want out of this. I think this is apparent to everyone. It's no secret. But I would rather see the decisions made for the informed reasons rather than ones of emotional impulse.
He looks insulted, but he doesn't. Like, he knows he's been insulted, but he doesn't know how to. Like, he's okay. So he made like his statement of why are we offering water to a scorch to a smoldering fire was as rude as he's willing to get, but he wants to say something rude back, but he doesn't know how to say it. He can't give a backhanded compliment fast enough. Saren, you are technically 2 people away from him. And Kira, you are on the other side of his nephew. And his nephew's like Oliver. So Oliver is.
I didn't realize it was Oliver was his nephew. This changes everything. It doesn't change. Actually, it doesn't change that much, but it's an interesting layer. Can we all hear what he's saying?
Yeah, no, he's not.
Okay,
like, most of the table, like, it's not like everyone stopped talking, but like the volume has dropped and everyone's sort of listening.
Okay.
Because the Baron had said something important, and therefore, they're listening because he's the host of the party. Therefore, we're stopping to listen to him, but like they're all chittering between themselves. So Oliver, who's sitting next to you, before he was going red in the ears, but not in the face, he sort of goes red in the face, and you can see him like clenching and unclenching his hand on his silverware, but like deliberately like staring across the table at like Trixie. Like, I'm not looking at my uncle, I'm not looking at Sorcha, I'm not looking at anyone. Trixie and I are just staring at one another. Like, and there'll be like, if this was like a movie, there'll be a panel of like, not a panel, there'll be like a shot of like under the table, Trixie has like her foot on his foot, like stepping on his foot, like grinding her foot into his foot, like, be quiet, like, don't you dare get into, like, I know what you like, this is not the time. But you can't see that his foot is grinding into his foot. You can just see him cleansing and uncleansing his hand.
To all 3 of the younger, the new generation, what does it seem like their response is to what he is saying? Are they nodding in agreement, or they're like, oh my god, this is not good?
Piper's not politely glaring at Dawson. Because Sorcha, who is on the same side as Piper, so can't see her, would know. I think I've mentioned this, that Piper wasn't raised by Baron Maddox. She was raised by the Grant family. So the Grant family is a minor merchant family, not a major merchant family, like her grandfather is. Um, and so she has all the high society, polite major merchant family uh, etiquette, but she doesn't. She also has the like lower working class merchant family knowledge. So like the way Saren knows that Dawson is kind of a shit, she also is aware of that, like more intimately than say anyone else at the table besides Saren and Kira would be. Um, and Elise Grant, who's sitting next to her, would also know the same because they're in the same family. And
Sorcha would have shared all of this gossip
yeah,
about how horrible he is with her companion. So
yeah. So like everyone's sort of aware that he's a shit, but like he's like I said earlier, like I said previously, he's an equal opportunity shit. So you know, in theory only, he's arguing for the sake of arguing because he wants you to prove your point. Like he wants you to prove your case, and that it is a good investment for him to back you, not because he necessarily does disagree with you. But like Gelspor hasn't, like Gelspor's done nothing for him. Why would he help them? Like it's not even I've got mine. Why do you need to get yours? It's not like, oh, I paid my student loans, therefore we should never get rid of other people's student loans. It's more like I got mine. You started the same place I started. Why haven't you caught up? Like what's holding, like what do you need to hold? Like I don't get why, like he's kind of anyway, Dawson is an ass. So Piper's glaring at him, like not like she's like rudely glaring at him. You can see that I keep calling her Eloise. Elise Grant, who's next to her, is sort of like side mumbling out of the side of her mouth towards Piper, and like again, if this was a movie, you would see they would cut to the subtitles, or sometimes it'd be like, "Fix your fucking face," not "fix your fucking face," but "fix your face." Like,
Sorcha has decided to ignore the tension and go back to her food. These are really good potatoes.
And Trixie, on the other hand, is like looking between. She's looking at Oliver, like trying to again because her foot is grinding into his foot under the table, and looking at the Baron, and then because Sorcha is next to her, I'm sort of looking at Sorcha. So that's where everyone else is sort of like all the other adults are sort of like. Except for Becca and Louise. Becca and Louise are on your side. Like they're like rolling their eyes at him, like, why are you like this? That's rude. Don't be like this. And all the other adults are like, he has a point. Like, I don't really. They were fine without us. What do they need from us? Like, they seem to be like everyone. So everyone from Ardell. There are two sorts of understanding. There are two sorts of people from Ardell. There's the people from Ardell who think Gelspar is fine and does not need any sort of assistance. If given enough time, they'll sort themselves out.
To be clear, the Sorcha's big point, like, I'm not sure if they'll all understand it, was you should care because if they leave, everything you know is gone.
Correct. No. So like, there's two sorts of people. There's the people who believe in trickle-down economics, and then there are the people who understand that Gelspar is dependent on Ardell as much as Ardell is dependent on Gelspar. Therefore, it's mutually beneficial for both of them to maintain the status quo. Except now Gelspar has a new crystal, and technically they may not need Ardell anymore. But realistically, are they going to leave? No, probably not. It's like, is China ever going to stop saying Taiwan is part of their country? Probably not. Does anyone else care about that? No. Well, whatever. Like that. Like, So those are the two kinds of people. People believe in trickle-down economics and people who think, like, nothing's going to change, so therefore I don't need to do anything. I mean, Taiwan does care a lot. Yes, that is fair. Gelspar cares a lot. Gellsport is Taiwan in this conversation. Gellsport cares a lot. Gellsport would like, in theory, to be there anyway. I'll let you people decide that, and I don't mean you people. I mean like you people.
So I think if there's like a little moment of silence, like Kira's gonna be like, have you actually tended a fire before? It seems like the answer to your question is quite obvious.
He's gonna look like he's like, because again you're on the same side of the table as him. He's gonna like sort of lean forward to look at you, and he's gonna be like, "Yes, I've tended a fire before. I don't understand." Like, he's made a bad analogy, and he doesn't. He's too deep into it to back out of it now. Like, I cannot back out of this analogy now. Like, I have dug my heels in. I understand that if you leave a smoldering fire burning, it will burn until it eats everything around you, and then you're shit out of luck.
Oh, okay. So you do get it.
Oh, no, I'm saying that. He's not saying
Oh,
that.
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying that. But I know, but he has made a bad, I'm saying he made a bad analogy.
So Kira is going to say, I mean, if it's a fire that you want to put out, then yes. But I mean, yeah, if you leave it, it's going to burn and take everything with it.
And so, Dawson's gonna be about to say something when Baron Maddox like blatantly cuts him off. And it's
A
just
lot of like venom in Kira's, like she's clearly like, I'd be happy to burn you. Is what she is conveying.
Baron Maddox will be like, despite our colleagues' opinions on things, and he says opinions the way someone says, I think very not highly of what you just said. He's like, opinions about things. I believe that we and Ardell have, like I said, a obligation that we must fulfill. And I believe that the Council of Nobles will not do the what's the word for it? Not right thing, just thing. I don't think the Council of Nobles will do the just thing. And he's not gonna like. I'm not a subtle person, so I don't know how to say things subtly. But like, he double talks his way into, I want you to help me make them do the right thing. Like,
so Kira's like, I think with this, Kira's been like leaning forwards, just as Dawson has been as well. They've been like glaring at each other for this.
He's like glaring and eating it. Like, if you've ever seen someone angrily eat food, he's angrily putting potatoes in his mouth.
So Kira will like lean back and like look back to the Baron and be like, yeah, well, it's about time someone did.
Saren, while all of this is happening, what are you doing?
All right. I've been chewing my 7 watching this, because I was indeed promised that people were going to get wild, and sure enough, we have not made it through entrees, and they're already starting to show their ass. I am impressed. It normally takes about 15 minutes longer than this before people start losing their temper down in Gellspar at the bar. So this is fun. Oh, look at these rich people losing their shit over just looking at each other wrong. So Saren finishes chewing, sets their fork down, and leans just a little bit forward. I think if it were just me, it's not, but if it were just me, I would be concerned if half my shipping port decided to leave, and almost all my dock hands at both my shipping ports decided to leave. Gellspar runs your business, Dawson.
Dawson makes a face, like he makes a like he like blusters. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than like And Oliver who's sitting next to him, like, does the like, I'm shoving potatoes in my mouth so I don't laugh. Because no one's talked to his uncle like this ever in his life, and everyone's sort of looking at you like, who are you? Why are you not? Who are you? And not how dare you, but or not what gave you the right, but like, who are you? And was that is this person making a smart move by picking at Dawson so sharply, so obviously, um, and um,
Sorch is just sort of sitting back with a glass of champagne. Like if she had popcorn, she'd be chewing it, you know?
yeah,
That sort of look.
Dawson's gonna be like, if Gelspar ran half of my business, then they need me as much as I need them. Because they need the work and the coin and the crystal as much as I need their assistance.
Well, then isn't it a wonderful thing we're all having such a civilized dinner conversation about how to keep our work together?
And so uh across from you, Harriet Ashenfell. But okay, so okay, I'm gonna do another reminder. So remember how I said Harriet Ashenfell's aunt was the important person in her family? Harriet Ashenfell's aunt is here. Harriet Ashenfell is the +1 to her aunt. So Harriet, her, what do you call someone who's in charge of your family? What's another word for matriarch?
Matriarch. That
I mean,
is the.
no, but
I mean, periarch. That's like the gender neutral.
no. I mean, like,
word.
I can't spell matriarch. What is that? What kind of title is that?
Head of house.
Oh, okay.
I had a household.
Like, what would you call them? What would their
Like if you want a again, periarch is the gender neutral of like patriarch or matriarch.
No, sorry. I mean, like, so, like, if she's the matriarch of the family, would her like, what would her like, Miss, Mrs. Like, what is her? What is? I can't think of the word.
Oh, her honorific.
Yeah, there we go. What's her honorific? Okay, Madam. Thank you. Madam Ashenfell, who I haven't given a first name, but she's gonna be Madam Ashenfell for the time being, will be like, I think before we get and she'll pause and like take a sip for a drink. Any further into this riveting discussion on who needs who and what needs to happen, we should, and she'll look at the Baron. What do you? I'm going to put it bluntly, Baron Maddox, because we are colleagues for a long time, and we are all. She'll like gesture to the table. People of equal standing and understanding. And similar goals and mindsets. What do you? What do you want? And you're looking between you, Sarah, and the Baron. Okay. Also, side note: everyone put embers in chat to win a copy of Wailing Song. Shit, I've forgotten what everything is. Hold on a second.
I thought it was a complete collection. Not
It's a complete collection. Yes, it is a complete collection. It consists of Wailing Songs. It consists of Hero's Manual, Skies of Axia, Songweaver's Tapestry, which Songweaver's Tapestry and Wailing Song are both vignettes. Skies of Axia is the full campaign. The Hero's Manual is the thing that you need to build characters in theory. You can do it technically without the Hero's Manual, but also having the Hero's Manual is just handy. I like the Hero's Manual. I would say buy the Hero's Manual if you wanted to buy anything and then like make shit up for the rest of the game. But what do I know? Actually, I'd say buy Heroes Manual and Skies of Axia, and then make shit up as much as you want after the end of the game.
Buy it all.
I mean, yes, I'll buy it all. I own it all, so I just all of it. Just use the code Daltrians on emberwindsgame.com. Get 10% off. Buy all the things. Support this game so we can get more content for this game, so we can keep playing this game. Please and thank you. So she's gonna say she's so as Madam Ashenfeld looks at you, Saren, and looks at she looks at Saren and Kira. Actually, she looks at Saren and Kira because both of you are from Gelspar, and she's like, so what do you? How can we? What can you? What? Not what do you want from us, but like, how can we help you? What do you think Gelspar wants, and what is the best? Like, and when the Baron tries to like cut in to say what he thinks, she'll look at him like, be quiet. Like, I'm not asking you. I know what you want. What does actual Gelspar want?
All right. Saren leans forward a little bit.
Or what does actual Gelspar think? Like, not necessarily what do you want, but what else? What do people from Gelspar actually think about like everything that's happened?
All right. Saren leans forward and takes a good look at Madame Ashenfeld. Saren hasn't been unimpressed, but there hasn't been anyone who's particularly impressed them until now.
Mm-hmm.
Madame Ashenfeld has caught their attention. She is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if she's a friend, but she's interesting. So Saren leans forward with half a smile. The people of Geldspar are looking for parity with
Ardell.
Ardell, thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
We're looking for parity. We're looking for schools. We're looking for chances. We're looking for the ability to be more than just the people living under Ardell's shadow, making sure things run smoothly up here. We want chances for our children.
She'll nod, understandable. And she'll say, and she'll look at I should have put all the kids on the same side. I should have put the kids at the kids' table. Whatever. I should have made a kids' table and put them all at the kids' table. And you, Matt, young lady, and she'll look at Kira. What do the kids want? And she says, kids, children. Like, what is actually no? She says, what do the youth want?
The youth,
as they are the future. And she says youth like, I'm an old person. I'm acknowledging I'm an old person, but you better not call me old. What do the youth want?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of youth in Geldspar. I can't tell you what they all think. You'd have to speak to them, but I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Like, be good to be able to get access to stuff that we need and not have to work the whole time for very little.
She's staring at you, like nodding,
well,
like yes.
And then then Kira pauses and she looks at Oliver a little bit awkwardly and is like, whilst you guys kind of do nothing for all of this.
Oliver, who had like so Oliver, Trixie, Piper. Piper's still glaring at Dawson, and Trixie is like listening, but like sipping her wine. Oliver. So the thing about Oliver is, and the thing about Dawson is, they like so if the Maddox clan is new money, the Dawson clan is new money. And so Oliver has the etiquette to know that he's not supposed to laugh. when you say they do nothing, but he also can't control the immediate reaction, which is to laugh. And so he kind of tries to like smother it and sort of chokes at the same time. And like, you know what, like when you like so he wasn't eating, he was drinking. Like everyone's like sort of sipping their drink because everyone's like mostly done with their food. So you know like when you laugh and like drink comes out of your nose, and you have to like grab your face and like just shove a napkin in it. He's like trying to do that. But like everyone's like looking at him like it wasn't that funny. Why are you? And like again, there'll be a shot of under the table, and you can literally see Trixie like kicking him. You can see from her upper body movement that she's kicked him.
So this is pushing the shipping even more because I think Kira like visibly relaxes a little bit and is also like, because I think she was like worried that like everyone would just be like, oh, well, you know. And then so she's kind of a bit like, okay, I feel more confident in what I've said. Like these people aren't just going to turn on me immediately like I expect them to for calling them out on not doing anything.
Like everyone's like all the adults sort of make a face when you say they do nothing. Like that's not true. I totally do something. And like they don't all say it at the same time. But it's the way adults say. So technically speaking, all of them have jobs. Like none of them are rich enough except for like Krell to not need a job. Like Glenn, but like it's all fake jobs. It's not real. It's not like I work 9 to 5. 70 hours a week, 5 days a week job. I work when I feel like it, Monday through Friday, because someone needs to do the thing, but like no one's really making me do the thing. I'm doing the thing because if I don't do it, no one would do it.
Yeah. They're like making sure other people are doing the things they have to do.
Right? Yeah. They're with the exception of probably Dawson technically probably has the most real person job there. And probably Harriet Ashenfeld, again, because she's a lawyer. She does the day-to-day stuff. Becca and Louise do textiles, imports and exports. They also are a little more. But for the most part, everyone has like I'm a rich person. Like they have a job the way people who are friends with kings and queens have jobs. Not really. But like, on paper you have a job.
They compile the reports of all the people who are actually doing their jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I read the thing, I sign the paperwork, I make sure this makes sense. But like,
I confirm that other people are doing the work that I want done.
I sign people's paychecks every week. Like I make sure everyone gets paid. But like that's my job. Yeah, when you own a charity but don't run it, exactly. But like they've all inherited a charity at some point or another, some way or another, or started building a charity in Dawson's case. Like it's the so when you say that they don't do anything, they all sort of make all the adults make I disagree with that statement, but I'm not going to argue with you statement. I'm not going to argue with you because it's not. I'm too mature to argue with a child about what I do and how important my job is. But all the Piper, Trixie, Oliver all go, yeah, no, I don't really do anything. I just sort of exist. It's true. But they're like, yeah, no, that's accurate.
Kira's gonna be like, sort of while everyone's like, oh no, don't do anything. She's gonna like pat Oliver on the back because he's like choking on his wine or whatever.
Yep. He's gonna
be like,
he's gonna like wipe his face. A servant will come out of nowhere, take his like dirty napkin, hand him a fresh one and a new glass of wine.
Yeah, and she's gonna be like, I have an old customer of mine.
Who?
I
didn't hear what you said.
He didn't. Oh, she's like, I have an old customer of mine. He didn't make it through the last winter, but I managed to power his home from stuff I found out, and that you guys just threw away for like 5 years. He was my first customer. when I officially took up my business. And we survived just on the stuff that you didn't even notice that you didn't need anymore. There's a lot of stuff you guys don't even notice going on around you.
They all get like, so you know when you say something that's true but no one wants to hear it? They all, not all of them, but enough of the people make the, I am deeply uncomfortable with the tone of this conversation. I didn't come here to be I just came here for a good time and I'm being attacked.
Yes.
That's what
People
they
being me. I'm being bullied. I didn't come here to be bullied.
Yeah. Like, I came here for a good time and I'm being bullied. What the heck?
Sorcha has her little notebook out and she's a little louder than she needs to, tapping the top of the spine, and she's just going to like, she's just, sounds like it's an important turning point in history. And she's going to make a show of writing something down.
Kira's gonna be like, yeah, I guess so. And she's gonna like look at Oliver and the other two.
Yeah, and so Baron Maddox, yes, that's who's gonna say something. Baron Maddox will say, and he's like looking, he like looks at Kira, and he like looks at Oliver, Trixie, Piper, like, and he makes this sort of like fond look, like, I'm proud of you, but like in a weird way, it's like tuxedo mask. My job here is done. You didn't do anything.
He gave an inspirational speech.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, yes, exactly what that one said. That one over there did the thing that I wanted. And he's gonna be like, I want, I believe that, because the Council of Nobles will not do the right thing, I believe that it's time that we as, so everyone understands what he's implying is a coup without a murder. But without the murder.
Like political, social coup rather than an actual,
Not an actual like military takeover, because again, he invited Harriet, she's a fucking lawyer. Verity's, she works for the guards. Like, he's not saying let's murder the noble family and take their place. He's saying maybe it's time for them to retire or add some new seats to the council. More so add some new seats to the council than anything.
At those words, Sorcha just starts audibly, like, in that really excited, high-pitched giggle that some people do, and she's just writing so fast.
He is deliberately not making eye contact. Like, he understands that you're taking notes, but he also understands that should your notes fall into the wrong people's hands, he will be shit out of luck. But he's not going to stop you because he understands that trying to stop you is not going to work. Also, next to you, Krell is like in his lap, like writing stuff down. But he's like, unlike Sorcha, who is doing it on the table, Krell at least has the like not decency, but the decency to like do it under the table. Like, he's just like, and so,
like, heaven help anyone who tries to take Sorcha's notebook.
Yeah. And so the Baron will say, I think, and so actually someone else on the table, I don't know who it doesn't really matter, says, so are you suggesting that you take a spot, like, are you Baron Maddox suggesting that you take a spot on the Council of Nobles? And like, they say it like in, I'm not surprised that you have these political, I'm not surprised that you think you should seize power for yourself. That's like the least surprising thing you could have ever said to me. Go figure. And he goes, no, actually, I don't. He looks at Piper, Trixie, Kira, and Oliver, and like looks at them, and like he makes the face of like, I think they should do it. And like, he's like staring at like everyone like sort of like slowly you can see the wave of understanding going down the table as he makes deliberate eye contact with the kids at the table and like a couple people who have kids who may not have brought their children. But he's like looking at them like we're all too old, but they aren't. It is time for the Council of Noble to get some fresh faces in their chambers, in the Sun Chamber, which is where the Council of Nobles meets. Saren, Kira, Sorcha. Kira, you're being volunteered for a new job. Whether you like it or not, you've been volunteered for a new job. Piper, on the other hand, looks like Piper looks like, oh shit, that's not what I thought was gonna happen here. Like I didn't like.
It's all of your money and all of the political face. This is amazing.
And like, so everyone has like varying faces of like, I'm surprised that he suggested this. I think he's gonna suggest it for himself. The fact that he's nominating these children who technically are all being trained to be our heirs and take over our business. So theoretically, they're competent if I trust my kid. So I can't really say no, I don't trust my kid, but I also don't want my kid to have more power than me. So it's this weird, like, also everyone sort of knows the Baron and Piper don't really have a familiar relationship. Like they're not like they are blood related, but he didn't raise her. Like they have she works for the Baron. They see each other at like events and like he takes her to things and like they see each other at board meetings, but they're not like she wouldn't hug him unless it was a weird publicly event where you have to hug someone type deal. Like that's not so the fact he's suggesting that for Piper, it's just like everyone's just like she's just like what the fuck. And like she makes the what the fuck face, but then she also like clears her face like very quickly, like and like puts on this like I am here listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth, but like I am not here for listening to anything you've just my brain is completely gone somewhere else. I am overwhelmed with the amount of information that I have been presented with. Trixie looks shocked but smug. And Oliver's just like looking at his uncle like, I'm sure he's gonna murder me in my sleep. It's cool.
Kira's gonna like look over her shoulder to try and figure out who the Baron is looking at.
He's looking
and then realizes it's her. And it's gonna be like, hang on now. I don't even know how any of this stuff works. I am not a council person, you know.
I've got all the books in the archives. Don't worry about it.
You like gesture to Sorcha, like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like, there's nothing that we can't. He's just like, I believe you to be a smart young woman, capable, competent, and they'll like say a bunch of like polite, really polite, words about how smart and good and capable and confident and talented, and you run your own business. Clearly, Saren, who is a good person, thinks highly of you because she invited you to this party. Like,
Kira's like, under all this pressure, she's just gonna be like, I mean, she's gonna like basically look to Saren, and she's got like "help me" on her face.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
You do?
I do, Kira. You're a clever little goose. I think you'll do amazing things with a little bit of help. And of course, the Baron would be glad to see you trained and provided for so that you can keep up with your new peers. Wouldn't you, Baron Maddox?
He'll again smile, and he smiles in the looking at Saren like all teeth. Yes. like the you have not the smug. Actually, it's the smug. You have agreed to my terms and conditions. You don't know what you like. Thank you for backing my play. I appreciate your backing my play. Basically, like yes, I would be more than happy to. And he'll like look at Elise, who's sitting across from him, across like next to Piper. The Grant family, and he'll like look at Elise. He'll like nod at Elise, and be like, have been a exponentially splendid family for Piper to learn from. I believe that they would be more than happy to assist you in getting up to speed. And he'll like look at Kira like,
Okay.
he'll
You
be
see,
like-
you
and
see
I
under the
guess he'll be
table, Kira is just like awkwardly, like she doesn't notice she's doing it, but she's sort of shoving stuff into her pockets even deeper than they already were.
So the thing about it is, the Baron will, so he is aware that, like, so he's perfectly aware that you are wildly uncomfortable, but he also like, you are a pawn in his game, and he needs you to go where he's putting you.
Yeah.
And, like, so he's not going to give you the option to back out,
Yeah.
but, like...
So Kira's
he,
going to
like,
be
will-
like, sorry, I was going to say, Kira's going to be like, okay, so, but you guys all have, you know, someone to learn from, right? Someone from you guys, and she's gonna like look between Piper and Maddox and everybody, and she looks between like Oliver. She gestures between Oliver and then Dawson, and then she doesn't finish the sentence and is like, you know, and so, okay, sure, but Saren can be with me, right? She can advise, right? We need advisors.
You again, you've again played perfectly into his hand. He's like, it'd be lovely if Madam, what the heck is your last, lynching clutch?
Lichen Clutch.
Lichen clutch, sorry, Lichen clutch. It would be lovely if Madam Lichen clutch, joined, helped. I believe that she is a sparkling voice of a refreshing voice of new ideas from Gelspor that we should cultivate. And he's like he's making not uncomfortable eye contact. Have you ever seen Hannibal? You know how sometimes Hannibal looks at Will? It's like vaguely uncomfortable. Like I'm thinking about like all the human flesh I could feed you. Like, but he's making that face at Saren.
Yes, Val, thirsty.
Saren, make that face right back.
That's okay. Saren is meeting heavy eye contact for heavy eye contact because I can see that he thinks that he has gotten his way this whole time.
Yeah, he totally thinks he got his way.
And I know that he has his way exactly as long as his way keeps matching my way and no longer.
And he's
So-
aware of that. He is aware of that. He's aware that you like. He is
So
aware.
we're
that-
doing the happy eye fuck. Yeah, this is gonna work.
He's like, yeah, we can play this game. We can do this thing. And he's gonna, and then like, as you're making this eye contact, Harriet, who's like sitting closest technically to you, Harriet and Becca will literally go stare at each other, look at you, and go, ahem.
I will pick up a glass of water without breaking eye contact and hand it to Becca. It sounds like your throat's dry.
Thank you. Anyway, that will conclude our current game for the moment because
My goodness.
So what's gonna happen is the bear so he's gonna be like, I believe it's time to discuss the finer details of things. I believe we should discuss the finer details of things over our next course. And like as he says, over our next course, the servants who have been like subtly hiding in the shadows will all appear to like remove people's plates, and like new servants will come out to bring new plates, and it's like a 3-layer chocolate cake with chocolate icing, with chocolate frosting, with chocolate chips on top of it cake.
Just all of the chocolate.
That's a lot of freaking chocolate.
And the thing about it is, chocolate is hard to come by. So this is like I am being fancy. Like this is I'm like, it's something that you have to import from other places. And so to have enough to make a cake that can serve all these people, which mind you, there's only like 12 people here, but it's like an 18-inch cake. So to have like that big of a cake with that much chocolate, he's kind of like, it's kind of like the modern equivalent of getting something with gold foil in it.
It's like having a garden on Arrakis.
Yeah.
It'd be very niche with my
That is a wonderful analogy.
Niche. Oh, it's just like, yeah, that's and so plates will be cleared out, cakes will be brought out, everyone will sort of be picking at their little cake, savoring the moment, or savoring the cake. Saren, you've probably had chocolate before in your life. Kira, you probably haven't. Just because it's expensive. Like if you've had chocolate, it's like cheap chocolate, not like good chocolate. And we'll talk about your reaction to the chocolate cake later. Chocolate. Oops. Cake.
I assume this is this all we'll sit down for all of this, don't we?
Yeah, all the dim table,
Okay.
yes. Okay. Why? Did you want to get up and go somewhere? Because you can't.
No.
You can totally go to the bathroom to like splash some water on
Okay,
your
I was
face.
just gonna say, so if there's a little post credit for today's scene at some point when
you can excuse yourself as they're bringing out the cake. You whisper to one of the servants, "Look, where's the bathroom?" And
just
like, go.
maybe I catch like eyes with Saren, just to be like, and we maybe cross paths. Maybe she's coming, like they're coming back. I'm on the way.
To the bathroom together.
Yeah, and Kira's just gonna be like, I guess it's not important right now, but just wondering, do you know anything about horses?
Son of a bitch.
The very last scene of our episode, of our current episode, will be it'll be Saren and Kira in the bathroom, and as Kira's asking about, do you know anything about horses? Trixie will come into the bathroom. And if you don't know, Trixie is Glenn Lee's kid whose house you robbed.
Oh, okay.
Did you stole her pony? Her birthday pony? Your new best friend's birthday pony? Oh, Kira.
Trixie will enter the bathroom, and she'll like kind of like stop, like she clearly knew you weren't going to the bathroom to use the bathroom. But she also didn't think you were going to the bathroom to ask about horses. But it'll be just like a moment of like the three of you doing like a Western stare down, where Saren, I'm sure you were about to kill Kira, but then Trixie came into the bathroom, so now there's a witness.
Can Sorcha come in at the very end, just like, what's everyone doing in here? Hello! Just completely oblivious. Makes it even more awkward.
Okay, and so anyway, that's how our episode is going to end, because that's a perfectly good place, and that's where my notes are. Everyone's in the bathroom, except Piper, who will be joining us next episode. So hi, I'm Imani. I'm our storyteller for this episode or for this game. You can find me online at mcatterdev on Twitter, Margaret Catter TV on Twitch, and Margaret Catter Dev on coffee.com. If you feel like pimping me, I'll be back to streaming on Twitch next week. I don't know what I'm streaming. Probably some game dev stuff. Zoeth, you're up.
Hello, I'm Zweth. Find me on the internet either as Zweth or Zweth Raw. Links are in the chat. At the moment, I'm just in this game, but I do a bunch of different ones. I've got a cyberpunk one coming up in January, but I post on Twitter when they are coming up, so follow to find out. I do Twitch streams. I'm doing tomorrow 9 a.m. GMT, which I completely forgot to figure out what that is in different time zones, so you'll have to Google it. But yeah, that's me.
Arnica?
Hi, I'm Arnica, and you can find me on Twitter at ArnicaXRoss. And haven't been doing a lot of much lately except for this. And now I'm going to spend the next week desperately wondering what the hell we're going to do about this frickin' horse. This horse, Kara, this horse. Okay, I'm sorry, this pony. The pony.
Yeah, it's a horse. It's a fully size. We decided it was a Mustang.
It's like a Mustang pony, so it is
Yeah.
like it's a very small
But large.
horse.
It's larger than a pony, but smaller than a horse.
If it's bigger than a dog, it's...
Cree, what's up? What's your outros?
Hi. I'm a person that's from Earth. I am human. You can find me on the internet on my Twitch that's in the chat currently. I have working on a brand new stream schedule. I'm going to start doing things and actually finally finish a video game for once. You can also find me here on this channel on Wednesdays playing Dragonstone, where I play someone who's basically the polar opposite of Sorcha.
Nice. And this is Valdrian's channel. You all know Val. Hopefully you're subscribed, following, hit the notification bell, all that jazz. We're about to go raid someone. We will see you next week for Skies of Axia. Yes, we are playing the day after Christmas, I believe it is. And then yeah, that's about it. Oh wait, I was like, wait, what? Bye.
Bye.
Yay.